All right. Fix that real quick. I should be live. Everything should be right. Been a while since I've been on here like this, but I have some free time. And I'm not posting as much as I would like. There are some actual reasons behind that. Not going to get too far into what those are. To be fair, only to say that I've been working a lot and life gets in the way is the best way that I can possibly explain it. We all understand that. We all got our own lives going on, and YouTube is my hobby. It's something that I enjoy very much. It's something that I've taken a lot more serious in the last year, but it does take a backseat to my actual job and my family and my responsibilities and so on and so forth. So that is what has been going on, but I'm trying to maintain consistent posts. In fact, I think it's only been like 4 days or something like that since my last post. I was getting a video up every other day, and that has slowed down, but we'll see how that goes as stuff starts to clear up and whatnot. Hopefully, as the holidays kind of slow down and our lives get back to normal, maybe I can as well. We'll see how that works out. But what am I doing here? What's my intention? Well, two things. One, something showed up today that I thought was really cool, and I would like to unbox that in real time. The other is that I want to get an idea for just how much stuff is still sitting in the background that needs to be unboxed. And it's actually quite a bit. I was kind of going through things and thinking about it recently, and I realized that I've got a whole mess of stuff that hasn't been messed with, that is still waiting to be unboxed. And I don't necessarily want to unbox a whole bunch of it here. That's not my intention, but I do have the intention to at least get some of it out in the open and talk about some of the stuff, almost like a pickup video of sorts. That's not a normal thing that I do, but maybe it should be. Maybe I should also be talking about pickup videos, and maybe that's part of what the lives should be, is when I can come in and just kind of hang out and talk to people and talk about what I'm looking forward to and what's already out there and what I might have on pre-order or something like that, as well as what actually came in. And today I did get like a loot box, and that kind of got me thinking that it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to go ahead and come in and talk about that stuff in general. This still needs fixed as well. Because I'd like to get a light right here, and I'd like to get a light right over here so I can refocus this camera. I think that's an actual issue that I've been dealing with for a while now. And I did get this, which is not a bad light. It's actually really good for what it is, but it only seems to last maybe an hour and a half. And that's a problem for me, because oftentimes when I get on to do these streams myself, sometimes I can be on here for like 2 hours and this will die while I'm using it. So that doesn't exactly save me, offer me any good things. Let me move my camera. There, it should be fine back there. Hey, what's going on, man? It has been a while since I have been on here. That's what I was just talking about. Is I feel like it's been way longer than I would like it to have been. Like, see, I just plugged this thing in, and I know that it won't operate while plugged in, at least not the way that I'd like it to. Will it? No, I didn't figure that it would. And it's been sitting to the side for a long time, so I bet you it's really dead. I didn't expect it to do anything, but that's fine. I don't need it to do anything. I was just simply talking to talk. But yeah, that's my intention here. I'd like to go through some of the things that I still have left to unbox, something like a pickup video, and I'll do what I can to create to create the focus on the video and whatnot. Did I watch the final episode of Superman and Lois? No, and there is an actual reason. When I realized, because when the thing first came out, I saw the beginning. I saw that costume in some of the previews, and I said, that is not my favorite Superman costume, which is fine. But then he did a scene where he wore my favorite Superman costume, and I was like, oh man, holy crap. And then I started seeing some clips, and I started going, this is really good. But because my wife also tended to like she really liked Smallville and a lot of the other superhero shows that we were watching, like she liked Green Arrow and stuff like that. She liked Arrow and The Flash and things. So she wanted to watch it with me. Well, before I knew it, because of situations at hand, trying to finish one show and then move on to the next and yada yada, and because she works 2 jobs and I work a lot of overtime, before I knew it, we were like there. For some reason, my chat disconnected. I just put it back up. Before I knew what was even going on, I was like 2 seasons behind. And then I was like, I wonder how long this will go, in all honesty. So I just kind of pushed it into the back of my mind, and I honestly kind of forgot about it, almost on purpose, if you want the truth about it. And I knew that what I was missing was good. Like, there's no doubt in my mind I'm going to like this show. But then I started realizing I know the way these shows work at this point. They only get about 4 seasons, if that. So I decided I'll wait a little while. And I decided to prioritize Star Trek. And I started catching myself up on all the Star Trek stuff because I don't like to be behind on Star Trek, and I am behind on Star Trek. A lot of the new stuff I have not seen. So I started watching all of that. And then before I knew it, they said, hey, we're going to end the series. And I was like, low key, this is perfect for me. Because now they will finish it, and either with or without my wife, if she wants to watch it, she'll watch it with me. If she doesn't keep up, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bomb them out at this point. I've already kind of decided that. I'm just going to knock those things out because I know that I'm going to like this Superman. And I'm interested in that animated series that's currently running as well. So, are you kidding me right now? Hold on. That was Nick interrupting your stream. That was Nick. He was like, hey man, what's going on? And I said, I'm kind of live. What's going on? And he says, you're live? And then he says, oh man, I'm sorry. I'll let you go. And he's right to let me go because, boy, have I not got on here for a while. And yeah, that's exactly, my adventures with Superman, I'm hearing everybody is telling me that it's really good. And from what I've seen of it, I'm almost positive I will like that. So like, I have no worries whatsoever in terms of how that show is going to go for me. I feel like without a doubt, I will love it. So that's not an issue. Oh, there's a lot of stuff here. So if we're going to get through any of this stuff, I guess that I should get started. Let me go and check something real quick. Current. All right. Okay. So got a couple of people in here, so let's start talking about some stuff. First off, in terms of the pickups or things that we still have left to unbox, and I have a lot of it, actually. I got him sent to me, finally. This has been a while. I've seen this guy for a long time, and I've wanted this guy for a long time because I love the way he looks. Just this completely outrageous, really cool mini comics. Like, I actually think in some ways, he looks cooler to me than the original Trapjaw. Like, something about him, and one could argue he is the original Trapjaw, maybe? Maybe not. But you get what I'm saying. This guy catches my attention. Like, I just think he's really neat looking. And I had the chance to get him multiple times and just simply did not bite the bullet. But for Black Friday or Cyber, I was on Big Bad and there were sales. It was like a couple days ago. There were sales on Big Bad Toy Store, and that's what this entire first wave of stuff that we're looking at came from. Is I finally got a chance to get the comic book or mini comic Trapjaw. That's cool. I'm happy to add him onto the shelf. That's going to be cool. And at the same time, like all this stuff I'm about to show you right now cost me under $50. By the time that I was done, by the time I came back, it was all under $50. And it may have been Cyber Monday. I'm trying to remember if I ordered this on Friday or Monday. And I cannot honestly remember. I may have ordered this on Black Friday. I may have ordered this entire wave on Black Friday, and I don't think I got the email that it had shipped until like Tuesday. And because I'm close to Big Bad Toy Store, usually once I get a shipping confirmation, it's only a day, or maybe at most 2 days before I get something. But all of this that we're going over, there are 4 items here, and I came in under $50. So I got Mini Comics Trapjaw, very cool. And then I've been looking at her for a while. I got the special Princess Leia from the comic books. This is Princess Leia. I don't remember what comic this is from, like in terms of me just picking up a book and being like, this is it right here. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I know that I read this, and I'm having trouble remembering what part of the comic run this is from. Only that I remembered liking this look for Leia quite a bit. And I think that's because it plays into 2 aspects of my favorite Leia. So, this was her right here. And the reason this hits real hard for me, the reason I think this is so fantastic, is because my 2 favorite representations of Leia in the history of Star Wars was, 1, Hoth Leia. I like Hoth Leia a lot. Like a lot. She is my favorite version of Leia because we get to see her doing what she will be known for doing. She is leading the rebellion. She's giving the speech. She's laying down battle plans. She's on the communications. Even literally while the room is coming down around her ears, she is not walking out. She is commanding troops and making sure that her people get off the planet. She is a absolute star general to me. And she's always out in the front. She's an absolute. She's on the front line. She's getting it done. She's fighting for what she believes in. That to me, that's Leia. That is the prototype of what Leia is. And my second favorite Leia is a what if scenario. Believe it or new. That's there's another one. And this one specifically is the other Leia that I like a lot was a what if scenario from the DLC of Force Unleashed. Jedi Leia is awesome. Jedi Leia with the yellow lightsaber that wears a suit awfully comparable to this. That is my other favorite Leia. And if they make game Leia, if they make Force Unleashed Leia, that would be the absolute, that would be like the one I want. In terms of this collection, this what if comic book continuity of Black Series figures, there's one more that I want. I don't go crazy on Star Wars figures. I just don't. I only buy them when I have the little extra money and something really catches my attention, and it has to be an absolute mainstay, something I can absolutely justify on the shelf. I don't want to dive in to 1,000 things in Star Wars. I just don't want to do it. But the white suit Vader, and I know it's just a recolor, and I know he's only in like, what, 2 panels in that entire book? But there's something about Vader in all white with the silver eyes. I don't know why, but I'm sold. Like, I know it's simple. And one could even argue it's a gimmick. But I like it. I remember when I saw that in the comic book, I remember being like, holy crap. Are we about to see like a whole redemption arc? And then that never happened. Those What If comics like end right there. I remember there was like a whole series of What If comics for like New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, where they change certain aspects of the storyline and then go forward from that point. And one of the things is that Vader lives and he gets that full white suit. That's another one that I want. And I know that it's still on Big Bad. It's still available. But as of right now, he's still full price. I'm not saying I won't pay full price. I'm saying that I have to watch the money that I spend because we're right here at Christmas. I'm sure we all understand exactly what I'm getting at. We're right here at Christmas. But I got this Leia, and I do think it is really cool. I'm really looking forward to opening that Leia in general. I also got, and are you saying that Flying Through Space was the book that's from? I have it downstairs, but I think that I have it in a graphic novel form. And so yeah, I have it like in graphic novel form, and I haven't picked it up in a while. But I have it downstairs right now. I think it's early in the run of the new comic book stuff. New. I say new. It's not new now. Not at this point. Regardless. I picked up a Masterverse figure. I did not have this figure. And because I did not have Jitsu, I have not opened Fisto. I know that's weird, but if you'll remember, this is a long while back at this point, when I opened the Origins Fisto, I waited to also have Jitsu at the same time and open them both because something about these two figures makes me feel like they go together. Like they feel like rivals and they feel really, really well done. Now the new Eternia one, supposedly he's like a good guy in this, but I'm not worried about that one way or another. I just seen him and I knew I wanted him. In terms of the cross sell, I'm pretty sure I have everything from this wave of figures now, and he was like super cheap. Like they were like, please take him, and I was like, sure, because I mean, why wouldn't I? Like this is going to be perfect for me because, like I said, now I will purposely come in and do an episode, a video where I open Jitsu and Fisto at the same time. So that's 2 figures right there. And now we're kind of going to stop the video a little bit in terms of its momentum. Instead of just grabbing up a figure, which I could easily do. We're going to slow down for a minute, because I have something that I want to unbox. Like, unbox, like for real. Because the last item I got was this. I got something from Revelation, which is really neat. Something I do not need. But like for the price, I needed this. This is a Grayskull Stein. And I'm hoping this is really cool. And by the way, this is heavy. Like, this thing, whatever is in here, it certainly doesn't feel cheap. It feels heavy. This is heavy. Oh my. Okay. We're going to put that to the side there. There we go. Cut here. Cut there. Oh my gosh. There it is. Awesome. Put that off to the side here. And let's see this thing. First off, this thing is heavy. I'll tell you that. Looks like we got a label down here at the bottom. That's heavy. Oh my gosh. I don't know what this is. This feels... This part's metal up here. The rest of it is not. I don't know if this is a really heavy-duty glass or what. But I do wonder, because that seems like that's almost dangerous, where you'd let that fall back down. Like, wonder if that would chip it or hurt it. I don't know. But this is awesome. This is completely freaking awesome. Look at that! Yes! That is now my drinking cup. That is my Stein. Yes! Dang. That's going to be a lot of water. Like you said, I can have a big, tall glass of foamy water. Yes. So awesome. I seen this, and I knew it was going to be gimmicky and dumb, but I seen it, and I remember as soon as I seen it, I looked at it and I said, oh man. I said, that thing's on sale. And my wife is like, what is it? And I was like, it's essentially just like it's a Stein. It's like a beer Stein. And she goes, of Grayskull? And I was like, yes. She goes, how much is it normally? And I said, I think it's normally like a $60, $70 item. And it's all the way down to $20 right now. And she's like, oh, well, then you need it. And look, when your wife gives you the go-ahead, you need it. You need it. So I got it. So I now have this. And it is kind of cool. It's absolutely wild. This is the only part that has me a little scared, because this is really heavy-duty metal. And, of course, the rest of this is not. And it makes me worry about pulling this up and, like, letting it go and having it come down too hard. But, for what it's worth, this will be really cool on... This will be really cool on days when we actually get people together to actually do D&D and whatnot, because that's massive. And so now I've currently run out of stuff that's very close to me, so I'm going to grab some items off that chair, and we're going to keep going through the stuff. Oh, well, you know what? There's that. There's a bunch of stuff, and you can already kind of see what this one is, so we'll just go ahead and talk about it right now. Oh my, did I get stuck on something? I did. There we go. First off, I did pick up Cammy. She finally got sent, and so that puts me... I don't think I've missed, aside from the specials, like where they were only released at like cons or whatever, like Vicious Kin and Evil Ryu. I did not get them, but I've kept up with the main releases of this line, every single one of them. And that's the thing that I care about the most, is getting the main roster. This is a solid Cammy, by the way. It is done very well, from what I can tell. The only thing that I will say is I'm pretty sure once I open her up, that video will have to have a mild focus on one part that, without trying to get weird, I know we will be looking at her butt in the video. And I know that because her victory pose and one of the features that she constantly uses and gets pointed out in every game is the but, and there's a reason that I will be talking about it, because I'm going to use her video to kind of get an excuse to talk about articulation and what you lose to gain certain things and what you gain if you lose certain things, like the reason McFarlane chooses to do his figures a certain way and so on and so forth. You do lose something in order to gain something, and that does definitely happen here because she moves as well as all the other Street Fighter figures that we have seen so far. But she has a lot of the same leg conditions that the other Street Fighters have, and I know that that means this will not be Tigra. That's what I'm trying to say. Cammy, though having the bottom to compete with Tigra, she will not in figure form. I am almost absolutely certain. I have a feeling that's the truth of it, though I have yet to open her. I don't know. But that was not a pun. That was a mistake. But it will not matter to me in the long run. Just looking at her from right here, she's Cammy. She's Cammy. She's my favorite Street Fighter character and has been since Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo. So, like, I finally have a really, really good one for the shelf. I will not be complaining about this figure at all, I'm sure. Not really. Okay. At the same time that she showed up, we got DJ. So DJ also showed up, and he looks magnificent. And little things that I wasn't expecting is that his chain here is actually a real little gold chain. So I was expecting that would be built into the sculpt. That there would be, like, you know, how the characters have like dog tags and things like that. And sometimes that's just very much built into the sculpt. That's what I expected. And I don't know why I expected it. Maybe just because throughout the years, the certainty of certain things has told me that that's the way that it is. And especially if we're talking about figures in general, that's the way that it is. And so we expect it to be that way. But no. I should have known, because Jada has yet to disappoint me with anything they have done, that would be an actual little chain that you could put on and take off. But hey, I love these Jada figures. Like, they are so good. And yes, Cammy, wear camo. And it does actually make me wonder when they start finishing off these, once they get, and I want them to finish this. One thing that I can't stand is that these toy companies, and I understand that things are big. I understand that we're dealing with huge properties. I'm not oblivious to that at all. I understand that when we're talking about something like Justice League, what one do you go for? What Justice League do we put out, right? I like a line to finish a group, a setting, an idea. Give me a team to buy. Like, that's what I feel Build-A-Figures should be. Build-A-Figures should make sense to the idea of what it is that we're going after. If you want to give me a saber-toothed tiger, then what should have come in that wave, because we've already done that video talking about this, what should have come in that wave should have been all the people from the Savage Land. That would have made sense. But they don't really do that oftentimes. What messes things up is what they often do is they jump all around. And I know they're trying to get a bunch of different stuff in the market, but like, if you're going to do a Dark Avengers, right? Just do them. Just release a wave of Dark Avengers and let people buy the teams. Finish teams. Like, there are so many different teams and factions and whatnot that we never get a chance to complete because they just don't release like that. I both understand it and I'm not in love with it at the same time. So I'm hoping, and so far this looks like it's going to go the distance, so I'm not that worried about it. I want all of the Street Fighter 2 stuff first. Then go back and give me things like Alpha. Go back, go forward. Alpha does take place before Street Fighter 2, but it did come out after Street Fighter 2, so go forward and go back and give me Killer B. Give me Sakura. Give me Rainbow Mika. And different things like this. Give me Poison. Give me Charlie. Give me Charlie. Just different things like that. Like, that's fine if you want to, but I want this finished first. I want this. This needs to be the cross sell, and I want this. I want all of it before I move on to something else. I don't know what my chances of that are, but so far it's looking very promising that we'll get that from Jada. The reason that things like Storm Collectibles scare me is because, like, Storm Collectibles basically had us thinking, you're going to get all of Mortal Kombat. And then they didn't. And so now, the next group, the next company that takes over the Mortal Kombat line and starts going with that, you have a decision to make. Do you deal with the fact that you're going to continue from where you left off, get the rest of the figures that you need to complete the Mortal Kombat wave, but now certain figures will not be from the same line and they may look a little different, they may be a little different? Or do you start all over again and buy the next figures that you see from a new group with a new scale and a new design? That's hard. That's like a lot of people I see that are always talking about, I want Marvel Legends, I want that to stop, I want Marvel to give the license to somebody else and let somebody else have a try. Not that I don't understand. And I'm also one of those people that very blatantly believes that you need to have competition. Competition breeds better figures, better engineering, better value all the time. But at the same time, we have dug so deep in Marvel Legends. If a new company got a hold of it and started doing new figures, we're going to be all the way back to basics for years. Because you got to think of all the main characters that have to come out first before we start getting oddities. Characters that you like, that other people might not like. Characters that you know, that you're a big fan of. You're not going to see them. Because, and as this comment is rather old already, what will sell well is an absolute trademark of the industry, and we know this. We know this. So we know that one of the things that's going to happen here is that you got to get Spider-Man, you got to get Wolverine, you got to get Captain America, you got to get Iron Man. Now, as we go from this point and we start moving forward, you'll notice that the only characters that I'm calling out are going to be like big guaranteed sellers. You got to get Thor. You got to get Hulk. Now, this is cool, but like, we just got Lockjaw and Crystal. How long do you think it's going to be in another line, with another company making figures, before you start seeing stuff that like reaches out? Sure, Daredevil's a good possibility. One could argue She-Hulk. But one could also argue that She-Hulk is not one that's going to sell. She's not exactly hardcore mainstream. I know a lot of people know her and love her, but let's just be honest about what we're selling here. Main priority is to sell figures. Gambit, sure. A solid Jubilee to complete your Jim Lee roster? Questionable. How long would you have to wait to get one in a new line of figures? How long would it take to complete And Avengers, especially if you're going for an old Avengers, how long will it be before you get Purple Hawkeye, right? It's tough. And I understand the idea of wanting another company to come in and kind of try. But I also don't want to see Marvel Legends fail, because Marvel Legends is one of the only things that I can think of. We're going to get Dragon Man. And he's not just Dragon Man. He's a perfect scale Dragon Man. Were we ever going to see that in another line? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Sure, you'll see Doctor Doom. But like he's saying right here, like Jake is saying, the Vanisher? But then again, I guess if we're being honest, have we even seen Vanisher in Marvel Legends? I don't actually know. But that's just my point. It just makes me wonder how long we would end up waiting to get something else. Like, that could really, really set us back. Okay. I did pick up the Endless Winter Wonder Woman. I was at the Overstock toy store. I was looking around. She was on the shelf. And my buddy was like, "You need a Wonder Woman?" And he picks her up, and I'm like, "No, I haven't even read that storyline yet. Basically, my rules are it kind of has to mean something to me, and I haven't even got the chance to read Endless Winter yet, so I don't know if that's really important to me." But then, even if it is going against my rules, I'm looking at the price, and she's $10. And $10, winter is right here at the edge. We're about to start getting real snow. She is decked out for snow photography, and I want to get some snow shots this year. Like, that's something I'm honestly looking forward to. So when the snow comes down, I want to get over being cold. I don't like to be cold. Look, I'm not one of those guys that's like, "It's cold, I hate cold, I'd rather be in the summer." That's not the thing here. Guys, I work logistics for a warehouse, and I have done so for about 16 years. I've done so for longer than that. That's just the warehouse I'm currently in. I've been working warehouse labor in logistics since I think it was before I could drink. It's been about 20 years now that I've been doing logistics labor. And when you work in warehouses, because I don't know how many people here know this, when you work in warehouses, when it is hot outside, it is hot outside. The buildings that I have worked in, to my experience, have never been regulated. They've never been climate regulated. If it is hot outside, it is hot. You are hot. If it is cold outside, like the last couple days have been really cold, and I've been going in, I wear a t-shirt, I wear my hoodie, I wear some kind of long john, and then I also will wear a hat, and if I need to, I put my hood up over that hat, and I wear my gloves, and sometimes I put work gloves over those gloves, or double up on the work gloves, because in the area that I'm in, it's cold. And when you spend an entire day working in the cold, like last year I did, every time I got home and there was good snow, and I knew that I could get some really good action figure photography, I kept going, "Oh, but it's all cold." And I didn't want to go back out after I'm gonna force myself, tell myself, "Bill, stop being a wimp. You bought her. She needs to be in the snow." And it would be cool to get a shot something like this where it is snowing. That is cool. I like the idea of doing that right now. I'm actually really into that idea quite a bit. So I'm going to try to get my mindset, and I have a couple of things I want to do snow-wise. She's one of them. In fact, I think the next couple videos will basically be, I may even do like a winter series of unboxings where I kind of start opening some stuff that would make sense for some snow photography, because we're going to get snow, and I want to make sure that I get some shots this year. And she just really made sense for where I am right now. I want to do more serious photography with the action figures, and the snow is right here, and I need figures that make sense for that, and she just does. So, you know what, man? I love your comment. You know, it's great. You embrace the cold, I'll embrace hot chocolate. Yes, and I understand. But yes, that's why I bought her. She kind of goes against my collection rules. But, if I'm being honest, there's just enough leeway here that she's not. Because she's Wonder Woman. She cost me basically nothing. I'm going to use her for the photography. And hopefully, when I actually get to read this part of the Justice League books, the Endless Winter, I think that was an event. But regardless, I'll be able to buy that as one graphic novel. And who knows, maybe it's really cool. I liked Deceased. Usually, if I can get the story uninterrupted in graphic novel form, there's not a whole lot of, like, events that I don't like. They may not be my favorites. They may not stand up and make me be like, this is one of the best stories I've read in years. But oftentimes, I like them a lot. Now, in terms of best stories, and I don't know, some people are a little divisive on this one. Some people feel like, oh, I thought that was trash. But some people really liked it, and I am on the side of really liking it. I loved Flashpoint. And so finding her also at the Overstock for $10... Flashpoint Wonder Woman? Yes. The only complaint I have, looking from the outside, is I wish there'd have been a separate head. I don't give a crap about this, and I'm not about to collect the rest of this because I don't want angry Aquaman. I don't want skinny Superman. Maybe that Flash would be cool. Flashpoint Superman, Flashpoint Flash would be kind of cool. Maybe, but I'm not about to build him, nor do I really have it set that like I'm setting it. You know, I'm not like, oh my god, I have to build Cyborg. That would be cool. I like Cyborg quite a bit, and I have been arguing that Cyborg should have been a Justice League member for decades. I was saying that back on Teen Titans, that he seems too strong when you really get down to what he is. He seems too powerful to be playing in a, this is not meant to be disrespectful to the Teen Titans or a Young Justice aspect, but the B team. Cyborg seems like A-team material with the power set and abilities that he would have. So yes, he would be really cool, but I'm sure that there'll just be a Cyborg I can buy. I'm not about to go through the trouble of hunting down the rest of this wave, nor do I want it, but I wanted her, and at $10, too good. Too good. Put that there. And I'll have to get another wave of stuff. We'll put that there as well. Let's see. Let's check here. I don't know why, but for some reason I see her next to a white wolf. And to be honest, I have, though I do not believe the size would work at all, I have a couple white wolves. That would be pretty cool. And yes, I think that would be cool if I could get, and maybe I don't even have to go that crazy. Maybe I could go to Walmart where they sell the slugs, not like a slug, but like the plastic slugs that are more like rubber or whatever, and I could go to the wildlife and maybe I could get a white wolf. That would be cool, because it doesn't have to move. I can make her match the energy that I'm getting off whatever pre-pose that slug comes with. I bet you I could get away with that. And in the snow, that'd be a sweet shot, man. Let's see. I noticed you don't have a Guinan or Cool Pope outfit queue on the shelf. Do you ever want to add them? So, in terms of that Star Trek stuff, right now I'm doing a series of videos, and the first one is already out, if you're interested at all, where I'm what stays and what goes. And that series of videos is going to replace the things that I used to do with the room tours, where I'm purposely going back to the shelf, taking everything off the shelf, evaluating what stays at what part of the collection, what goes, rearranging the shelf, and then going forward from that point. And so the Star Trek shelf we will be talking about, because there is a lot of stuff that I want in terms of Star Trek. And in terms of the Playmates figures that aren't going to be that expensive, I hope to start probably setting aside, like, say, 30 or maybe even $40 per con and trying to pick them up. Because some of the people that I want, I know I can get. I want a Tasha Yar, of course. I want a complete set of the main cast and things of that nature. Let me fix this real quick. Bow, bow. There. I want a complete main cast, and I know that I can do that. So, yes, Wes, there are a couple things. I don't think I want that Q. Believe it or not, I think I want the Q that's in the Starfleet uniform. And I've seen him at a couple of cons for like $5. I don't know why I want that. And Guinan is another one that I actually would like to put on the shelf. I see her as a mainstay, main cast member of the Next Generation. So there are definitely some things that I'm looking for that shelf that I feel that shelf is nowhere near complete yet. Let's see. He was in Super Friends, voiced by Ernie Hudson, Cyborg. Cyborg was in Super Friends? Man, has it been that long since... I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen Super Friends in a very, 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 very long time. So you more than likely know some stuff I don't know about that. But that is cool. I have run out of stuff. Let me get a couple other items off this chair over here. It's a bunch of stuff. Big. Okay. Yes. I got him. I got him when he first came out. I know that you could still pick these up, which I was not expecting. I was expecting this guy to sell out. I had a feeling that this guy was cool enough to sell out, and he didn't. And it actually shocks me that he did not. We have not unboxed this guy yet, but I have him, and he is every bit the Masterverse Deluxe that I want him to be. And just like Snout Spout, he's heavy. Like, I can feel the weight of this in my hands. This is going to be cool. So he's definitely coming up in terms of the stuff to unbox, and he's really cool, and I'm very much looking forward to him. The only thing I have against this is that this is an army builder for Masterverse. And, like, he's $33. And if you buy him from Mattel directly, which you have to do, that's okay, Jake. Next time, man. Later on. If you buy him from Mattel, he's going to cost about $40 minimum. Every single one. And this is pretty much the Stormtrooper of Motu. That's a lot to try to add some Horde Troopers to your shelf. And I would argue that just for decent photography purposes, I need at least 3 of these guys. I'm not going to do that, because I simply cannot justify that kind of spending. But realistically, to get really good images where, like, I have a couple of troops coming up on some good guys, I need at least 3 or 4 of them, at least, to make the shots look right. And I'm not going to get that when I have to spend nearly $50 a figure. Like, that's a lot. That's a huge ask. So, depending on what I do when I get into this guy, when I open him up, there could be an argument that I end up maybe taking the stuff off to show his face or whatever, so he stands out more, and I kind of use him like a general, kind of set him aside from the fodder of the normal figures. I don't know yet. We'll see. Let's check this real quick. Bam. Okay, good. Not missing anything. Next. Oh, this I found at Ollie's. $10. This is awesome. This is awesome. Now, this is Grand Moff Tarkin. But, why did we buy this? We bought this because it's Peter Cushing. That's why. Hands down, that's why. No other reason. Simple, 100% Peter Cushing. And you know what? I have a small story about Peter Cushing, actually, because why not? We're here. Let's do it. Let's talk. Did you know that Peter Cushing, this is crazy, Peter Cushing, see all this right here? He was one of us. Did you know that? He was one of us. He collected army miniatures. Painted army miniatures, what adults would consider as toys, was an avid collector of said army miniatures, and even met up with other older men at VF halls and whatnot, and would play like he would play like action figures. They had an entire game, like a strategy built game, where you would basically playing like Warhammer, like or whatever, or Mech Warrior or something of that nature. He played miniatures. He was into that. He collected little trains. He collected little tanks. He would build them, and he would like paint them up. And he had displays in his house where he kept hundreds of these figures. And there are actually pictures of him in his playroom. That's a real thing, where he was like kind of like down, crouching down. He's got like a set of guys over here and a set of guys over here, and he's just having fun with toys. Peter Cushing was one of us. Can you believe that? Like, the kind of guy that he comes off as, like in all of his movies and whatnot, would never have you believe for a second that he was a toy guy, but he was. I think there's even a documentary about it, because when people started figuring it out, they were like kind of mesmerized that like this older, very like, you know, very dignified kind of guy, this professional actor, he was a toy guy. I love that. That's one of the reasons that I bought this. Not just because Tarkin, and not just because Peter Cushing, but because that blows my mind, and it makes me love him that much more. And he was already one of my all-time favorite horror icons anyway. So now, he just moves on up. Like, it's so cool. Been a while. This has been a hard year. I'm going to be honest with you, fan. It has been a very hard year, but for what it's worth, we are making it. At this point, it seems like we're starting to move forward again. Nick had some hard times, and his family went through some real stuff, and he had to kind of move. He kind of had to move back. He has not been in the show. I'm sure that anybody that watches the other show knows this. He has not been in the show for a while because he had to step back and he had to move his family into a new place and whatnot, and kind of figure out his life. This will be the very first holiday that he has had after his situation, and so it's been rough. But believe it or not, this year has been rough on everybody. And I mean literally every single person in the group. This is the toughest year I have ever seen my friend group face. I don't think a single person in the group has been unscathed from dead relatives, family members being sick, losing certain situations, going through trials and tribulations. It has been a rough year for the Fandom Night crew. But it is looking promising. And I'm hoping that once we get together and start talking and get some ideas flowing and whatnot, we come back at the start of the next year, and I'm hoping that show can really take off. I'm hoping we can bring a new focus and whatnot to it. Kind of get back to where we were. Passion, fun, just enjoying our episodes. Because as you notice, like here, when I just get to talk about what I want and whatnot, this is what Fandom Night should be and was for so many years. We were just having fun. We've got to get back to that, especially since there's been so much in the group that's been really difficult. But we will get back to it, absolutely. Still need that Tarkin. I'll end up paying 20 for it. Bah! You really think so? Because they were overstocked like crazy at Ollie's, and I've seen them in other places too. Like maybe I don't know. Maybe because I personally don't know where you're ordering from and whatnot, so you may end up still having to pay more than I did. But I was even seeing them like as low as $8 on Amazon sometimes. I really got to get these lights fixed. I have to keep deactivating and reactivating the camera to force its focus. I don't want to do that, but like, I don't have a lot of choice. I got to do what I got to do. Let's see. Cool to see more Star Wars added to the shelf. And I do have a couple of Star Wars that are being added to the shelf, because that's not the only one that's going up, actually. There's a couple of them that are being added to the shelf. And one is particularly cool, but we'll get to that here in a second. Woo! There we go. Guile. You know what's really crazy about Guile? Like, this is Guile. That's cool. He's big. That's cool. He still cost exactly what the rest of the line cost. That blows my mind. Do you see this right here? Do you see what that is? That is a comb. And he also has the actual little chain necklace too, just like we were just talking about with DJ. He comes with a comb. That is so wild. I have no idea why I love that so much, but I love the fact that he came with like a thumbs up kind of hand, but the thumb is just awkward enough that if you pose it right, you could get him doing like, yeah, that's right. But at the same time, you could put the comb in it and he can do his hair. I love the fact that he came with a comb. I don't know if I'll be able to pull this off, but I feel like I want to get a white coat for him. I want to get like a white coat for him, like a soft goods. And I want to put him in it. Then I want to give him the comb. Then I want to give him like the super angry face that he came with. Create a background, print it off like a barber shop, and I want to get like a little chair and put other figures in the chair and just have him like going to town, like combing their hair, so I get Guile the barber. Get some shots like that. It's so dumb, but like the second I seen that comb, man, I was like, I kind of want to do that now. And it has been a rough year, but like I said, I really think we're coming out of it at this point. I'm hoping. I really am. But about that other thing that we just talked about bringing another set of Star Wars. I shopped at GameStop. I know that I've said time and time again, done with GameStop. And I have been. I have been done with GameStop for a very long time. I have not gone back. After I did that first video where I said I would not go back, I have not been back. Then I did the other video where I said checking back in. Because back in that first video I said, until I see that there's been an honest difference in the way that GameStop is run, in the way that they handle their customer service and such, I will not be going back. So I did that check back. And I had a story to tell then. And I also came and said, hey, once again, there's, there's the problem. Again, here we go. Another bad run at GameStop. But they did get me. See, GameStop sells toys. And every now and then they get an exclusive. And I didn't want to, but I had to get this one. And thank you, sir, very much. Early Christmas cash after what Tube takes for new figures fun. They take a good little chunk, actually. I can't remember the exact number. I think they take almost, is it half? I don't remember. But no, every little bit means something, man. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And it says that is their 10th super chat on a live stream. That's your 10th? Man, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I appreciate it. I honestly do, man. That's shiny over there. They got this. GameStop got me. Because I could not pass on the chance to finally get the Phantom Menace figures. He's why I went. Qui-Gon. And by the way, woo, look at all that. That is an absolutely fantastic Liam Neeson. You can see the chat. You can see the chat. That's a fantastic Liam Neeson. It is so good. And he's what I wanted. Like, by far, he is what I wanted. See, he is always... Oh, don't you mean Ross? How cool. If you would like, yes, he could be that too. The only thing that sucks is that I kind of can't use him for that. Because he's 6-inch scale, and all the McFarlane stuff is like basically 7-inch scale, roughly. And so there might be a fix. I bet you I could take that head and I could probably put him on like a suit body. Like just buy one of the Marvel Legends suit bodies. And I think I have a Batman that is in the 6-inch scale range. That I talked about him on that DC video that I did recently, where what stays and what goes, the DC shelf. That Batman might be to scale to work for it. And now that I have the head, I could do that. Qui-Gon, not you, Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon is my favorite Jedi in the entire lineage of all Star Wars. All of it. Untouchable, all of it. He feels like the best representation of what I feel a Jedi is supposed to be across the entire series. And I like young Obi-Wan. And of my dad's favorite character, favorite bad guy was Darth Maul. I like him a lot too. This is fine. Like, this is perfect. This is what I wanted. I heard this is a newer Darth Maul body, and it has like all the cloths and the robes and everything, which is going to be cool. And as far as I could tell, these are new face sculpts for both McGregor and Liam Neeson. So this pack right here got me to go back to GameStop because it was an exclusive, and this was the only way I was getting it. So I put it on pre-order, and I bought it. So I have gone back to GameStop, kind of. And I say kind of because the chances of me making this a regular thing are still very, very small. I will say, however, and maybe it's just because of the guy that was taking care of me. The guy that took care of me at GameStop this time, when I went in and I bought that, and I walked around, I shopped around a little bit, and I found 2 other items there that I bought at the same time when I put this mug on pre-order. Things that I did not expect to find. Things that I thought were far out of my reach by this point, that I was not going to get one. And I will be talking about it because it'll come off the shelf here soon. But this guy was really, really decent to me. Like, he did not force me into anything. He didn't constantly be like, oh yeah, and by the way, there's all these pre-orders and yada yada. He just let me walk in. I said, dude, I've got a problem. There's an item coming. For whatever reason, I have tried online 4 different times to put my credit card in, and it will not save my information. I don't know what is going on. I need you to order this for me. And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely, no problem. What are you looking for? I tell him, da-da-da-da-da-da, bink, and then he gives me the number for the customer service and whatnot. He says, you go ahead and talk to them. I've already got this laid in, but just go ahead and talk to them in case this is a future thing. And then it'll be so you won't have to come in here and see me all the time. And I talked to this dude about some video games. I talked to this dude about toys. We just hung out. Now, keep in mind, it was me and him in the store alone for like almost 40 minutes. Like there was no one else that came in. It's a very much like a dying business. And it feels like it. It really feels like it at this point. But I was hanging out. I talked to the dude. I walked around. We discussed some different things. We laughed. We had some fun. I bought the items that I wanted. And he never once was like, oh, by the way, what about this? And what about this? And do you have a pro card? And you have this? And you have this? It was basically like, hey, man, I see your pro card is expired. Yeah, it's because I only come here maybe once every 2 years now. Okay, that's cool. Done. Done. And that's all it needs to be. Leave me alone, GameStop. Just let me buy things. Treat your employees right. Stop playing BS all the time. You have the potential to still be one of the best stores ever, GameStop. You have the ability and the potential because you've been it before. And I know the game market is changing. Change with it. Change with it. Become something nearly unrecognizable to what you used to be. Go back. Start buying up old classic games. Become a third-party vendor for old classic stuff and carry new age merchandise. Sell toys. Sell posters. Sell comics. Sell anything that has to do shirts and things like that from all the popular video games that are coming out and have come out, and just run with it. GameStop, the store for gaming stuff. Done. I know that they have the potential to do this because they've been it before. But the decisions that they make are what drove me away from it for so long. And I have only gone back twice since I made that video where I said, done with GameStop. Maybe you can find that video if you're interested at all to know what I'm talking about. But that was a video where I said, I'm done. It's not happening again. I'm tired of the way they've handled themselves. And the COVID thing really caught my attention with the way they were treating their employee base. And if you treat people like garbage, it really gets me. Now we pick and choose our battles, 100%. I would still tell you that there are still companies that I do deal with that could do 1,000 times better. So you could call me a hypocrite for having called out GameStop and moved against them in the way I did and pulled my business so hard. But we pick and choose our battles. There are certain things that I will admit, I use Amazon. I don't agree with all the things they do. I use Walmart. I don't agree with them either. But I have to pick and choose the battles that I can honestly win. And I can easily live without GameStop and it will never affect my life in any way whatsoever. So if they want my business, they have to fight for it. They don't hold a monopoly on the idea that my business is granted to them. That is not true with certain other businesses like Walmart. Where else am I going to go? Like that's what we have. You know what I mean? So like, you get the idea. But all of that aside, because we're not done here, there is a lot of stuff that still needs to be discussed in terms of stuff that we will be opening in the future. I've cleared that now. So now, let me get the stuff off the floor over here. Oh my. Let me move that stuff. That's the tripod for the little table. Okay. Let's grab that, grab this. Okay, put that there, that there, that there, that there, that there. Put this here. There's a lot to talk about, people. Okay. We got a lot of stuff. There we go. Okay. Stuff. Here we go. You can already see one of the items. We'll put this to the side, and we'll talk about this item that just can't wait its turn. It literally keeps falling. Okay. Whew. This stuff, I meant to open this the day I got her, and I just... Look, guys, we've talked about it. When my life interferes, sometimes I get something and I can't wait to open it. She showed up, and she looks utterly amazing. So I was like, I can't wait to open up a new Jean Grey, a Phoenix, and I'll probably replace the old Phoenix. It was no doubt in my mind that I would be doing that, and I was very excited to do so. Then, all of a sudden, almost at the exact same time that I got her, I got wound up in like 3 different event things that I had to do. So I was like, crap. And I do not like to rush these videos. I like to be in the right state of mind. I like to know that I'm going to have a story to tell. And I like to be ready to open a figure. Like to me, this is my escape. I let you guys in on it by doing it in real time, but part of this hobby for me is falling back into myself, saying, why is this so important? Why is this so cool? Sharing a story with you guys about that goes deeper, that talks about the fandom. I want to share why this means something to me, why it might mean something to you, where we connect on a social level, what we think about properties, and I love to hear from everybody else and whatnot, and this is one of those things. The Phoenix. This is what made Jean Grey my favorite X-Men character of all time. Everybody loves Wolverine. I get it. He's really cool. Phoenix, Jean Grey, all day, every day, forever. This is for me. And she comes with the bird now. She comes with a fiery stand, a bird. She's a new body figure. She looks absolutely terrific, and there's no doubt in my mind that I will love her and I will replace the old one. There's no doubt in my mind. But when I saw her, I got wound up in 5 or 6 other... there was like 3 event things that came up all at the same time. And then I had my kid. And then before I knew it, we were all the way into Wednesday. And then I was doing 12-hour days. My work schedule has been pretty crazy. Basically, because of my commute and the amount of time that I work, I'm leaving my house at 5 a.m. I'm getting home a little after 5 p.m. And this has been every single day, currently 6 days a week. So... because my work schedule hit me the way that it did all of a sudden, I never got to open her. And I never got the free time to sit down and be like, let's do a video. Because I try to do it. I try to get this and come in and say, here they are. This is what I think. This is my actual first impressions. If I've already opened her and put her on the shelf and then take her off the shelf and then bring her down and do the video, I feel like I lose part of that first impression. I want that first impression in the videos so you guys can tell in real time how this piece is affecting me. How does it hit me? What is it that I'm coming across immediately that I'm like, oh, I don't like that, or this is really cool, or I really appreciate that they did this, or this is so great, or the paint job this, or I want to find these things out in real time, not have sat with them for weeks and then come in. I'm not doing a review show. My videos are pretty much toy podcasts. Every single episode is basically a toy podcast that dives into what is the figure? How does it make me feel? Here's some history about why I had to have this. This is a little dive into my fandom. Let's look at the figure. Closing thoughts. Let's end the video. Every single one of them. So she has been sitting down there for way longer than I feel she should. Because even you right here, what's up, Sloth? She is fantastic. I just finished a whole paint job on her. She came out fantastic. Guess what? I saw that. I saw your post, man. And she did. I saw that you went out of your way to retrim the gold and everything and add the highlights. I seen it and it was good, man. It was good. It is so very good. And I was honestly impressed. I saw your post today, man, and I was like, yeah, sweet. And I clicked the little heart, but doop. I was like, it's good. It's good. I love the fact that you were able to get that out of her. And seeing yours opened and seeing you apply the paint and everything, kind of gave me a real feel for what I'm going to get when I open this. It really, really made me kind of, because now I could see her, from your post and whatnot. This is going to be so fantastic. There's only one thing I'm curious if I'm not going to like. I'm curious if I will have a problem with the face. Not that the face will be bad, but Marvel figures, their hair, they're still using very hard plastic hair, and it gets in their way. Most recently, we talked about this with Crystal. Her head won't move. She's, it's so bad how their heads are. And that makes me wonder, will she get in her own way a little bit? It looks like her hair is constantly wavy, so I can only do action stuff with her. But there may be a fix to that. I do have a standard Jean Grey head, and I do have the old one of this figure. And maybe I will keep that figure in terms of keep the head, and maybe I will take the other figure apart, because I haven't really played around with customizing, but it's been on my mind. And if I have an older figure that I don't mind losing, but I still want to keep the head sculpts, that might be one of my opportunities to pull those head sculpts, keep it for photography purposes for this one, if they fit, if they're still a good fit. And I don't see that they wouldn't be, because the way they did her, the only skin we see is the face. So I don't think that I'll have a color problem or anything like that, like where her hands don't quite match or something. I think it'll be fine. I may keep those heads and then move forward with the figure and kind of like you, test out my abilities and try to paint something for myself and whatnot. I have a feeling that I can get away with it. I really do. She is so worth it. Can't wait for your video. Face also reminds me of the actress who played Phoenix in the older X-Men movies. Now that you said that, I can't remember her name. Now that you said it, I can't remember her name, but I know exactly who you're talking about. And maybe. I'm impressed with this figure. I'm sitting here right now. I can tell you that face is magnificent. I think it's good. Everything about this looks great. And it looks like she's using the kind of body that we have on the new females. Which, finally, talk about being underutilized. I called this out too with Crystal when we talked about Crystal up there. Crystal should have come on the new female buck. There should be at least 2 or 3 standard new age female bucks, and we should be using them constantly. Stop using the old female buck. It is about 4 years behind the rest of the line, and they keep using it on female after female after female, while the Spider-Man buck just keeps getting better. Come on. Video games, etc. is a great franchise store. if you could find one, pretty much what you described, even loose figures and retro games. We have something like that here. We have a place called Mega Replay, or Disc Replay is also what it's called in other regions, from what I've noticed, because when you're on their mailing list, their emails come through as like Disc Replay, but here in my area, they're named Mega. I don't know if there's a reason behind that. Maybe there's a parent company that owns, and maybe kind of like Hardee's, if you go down south, they're one thing, and if you stay up here, they're another thing. That could very well be something about what's going on there too. So, but yeah, this is, oh my gosh. So good. Just the white-eyed face sculpt. Looked her up. Her name is Famke Jensen. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the leather, the leather X-Men movies. The fact that you just described them as the leather X-Men movies. You know what? I'm on board for that. I'm on board for calling them that. From now on, I'm stealing that. I'm going to refer to them that way. From now on, they will be the leather X-Men movies, because something about the way you just did that makes perfect sense for me. I've heard a million times where people say with utter disdain, the Foxmen. I don't hate those movies. Like, I know that it's a different time now, but it was a different time then. And if you didn't grow up where we grew up, making an assumption as to your age, to be fair, but if you didn't grow up when we grew up, you don't know. I hear people talk about bad movies. I see people watch a superhero movie today and go, oh, that's terrible. That sucked. Blah, blah, blah. They were so bad. Yada, yada. Look, I grew up in a time where we watched Superman 3 and 4. That's what you had. Superman 3 and 4. I watched Steel. I watched Shaquille O'Neal steal. Our Marvel Universe was Daredevil and Elektra. That was the connected Marvel Universe. Ugh. Like, when we did bad superhero movies, when I was growing up, we did bad superhero movies. We didn't mess around about how bad we could screw up a movie, okay? And it was either you watched that bad movie and got what you could get out of it, I liked this part of it, or you just didn't have superhero movies. You just didn't have them. Now, I can go to a superhero movie that everybody else dislikes, and I can watch the entire thing and be like, I liked 6 parts of that movie. It's good for me, because I've been on the other end of just how bad our superhero movies could be. I don't care. The Leather X-Men were fantastic movies as far as I'm concerned, and I still watch them today with no hiding in a corner, like if you're gonna go watch Turtles 3 and it makes you feel dirty and you gotta like hide in a different room and be like, hey, what are you watching in here? Porn! I'm watching porn in here. Don't worry about what I'm doing in here. Like. It's just because Turtles 3 is just so bad, you feel bad for watching it. Like, that was our level of bad movies. And by the way, Turtles, comic book movie. We started with one of the best comic book movies literally ever made. I will argue that. I don't care. I still say that. I'm telling you right now, best superhero movie, comic book adaptation I have ever seen to this day is still the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And we went from that to 3. When we messed up a franchise, we didn't mess around. Like, kids today have no clue how good their superhero movies are. And they even get series in between the movies. Remember the series that we got in between our superhero movies? They barely classified as series. We went from live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to a live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, which was fine. It was fine. It's a good movie for what it's worth. It's not Turtles 1. We had the next mutation. We had the next mutation. They get Daredevil series. You know what? I don't care what anybody says. I will watch She-Hulk. I will watch She-Hulk 7 times in a row without stopping before I will ever watch another episode of The Next Mutation ever again. Ever. Like, ever. And that's one that so many people were like, oh my God, I can't believe what they're... I don't even give a crap. I don't even give a crap. Like, when we messed up a show, we messed up a show, man. We knew how to mess a show up forever. In fact, Fandom Night has covered the entirety of that series, and this guy knows them turtles were a level of awful that is hard to explain unless you were there. Like, it is bad. TMNT was good, but more kiddish. Definitely nothing beat the OG one. I love the second Turtles movie, but I do find it infinitely inferior to what we did with part 1. Spider-Man Unlimited. I didn't like Unlimited. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I was not a big fan of it, in all honesty. There was something about it that seemed... it was just bad. Look, it was a follow-up to the best Spider-Man series that we'd ever had on TV, especially at that point in time. There wasn't much competition. But, like, you followed the 90s Spider-Man with Spider-Man Unlimited? Like, that was our choice? That was our follow-up? You know what? I'll take any one of the current Marvel movie follow-ups. I don't care. They're all better than that. Once they gave up on the idea that superhero movie had to be just for kids and toy sales, the plots began to thicken. And they did. Absolutely they did. In terms of other stuff that we still have to open, I do have this Evelyn, which is still waiting, this is after time skip Evelyn, which that's going to be cool. I like her head sculpt a lot. I like her head sculpt a lot. This one with the hair that's down, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I also have Skelegod, which we still have to open. We still have to open and talk about Skelegod. He's going to be really cool. Let me fix the camera again. Bam! Bam! I have no idea. I've really got to get them lights fixed. But yeah, Skelegod is going to be really cool. I'm going to enjoy that. And I've heard somebody already told me an interesting head swap that might work with him that I'm kind of looking forward to trying out too. But he's absolutely fantastic. I have no reason to believe that I won't really enjoy him. We do have Too Bad. I have Too Bad. I have not opened him. I did not get the chance to do so. But he's one that's been sitting over here for a long time, waiting to be opened. And, just like we just talked about, I have Fisto. So I have Fisto and I have Jitsu. So now I'm set. I'm ready to open them. And I'll be opening them in the same episode with each other. Just because to me, it makes sense. I feel like those go together so well. Oh my God. Yes, they did have a crossover with Space Rangers. And it is everything you ever wanted it to be. If you wanted it to be bad. Just saying. I'm going to go to that chair and get more stuff. Okay. I have Clawful. And this is one that I'm actually really looking forward to. I have a feeling that he will do really excellent. I have some really cool ideas for Clawful. Clawful is one of those mutant crab-esque men dudes that really works for Motu, but crosses into so many other things. I have a feeling that I can really get some cool barbarian shots with them fighting a big, angry, claw-esque monster. I think he is really, really cool. So, looking forward to this. Yes, they most certainly did. So bad. It really was so bad. We covered it. We talked about it in Fandom Night. We covered it extensively. We talked about every 5 minutes of that awful show. I was just talking about this. I want to do some winter shots. So this guy blows my mind. What G.I. Joe is giving us just blows my mind. Pound for pound, This team has to be one of the greatest teams in all of toys right now. From the sculpt designs, to the extra crap they give you, to the price that they are maintaining, to the level of quality control that they seem to have across the line. I'm not saying we don't have problems, because I have gotten a couple of figures that have like loose torsos and whatnot that did me no favors. But like when they do it right, man, there's almost nobody on the market right now that's outclassing G.I. Joe Classified. It blows my mind. This is a line that is so good that it brought a guy that does not collect G.I. Joes into G.I. Joe. I don't collect G.I. Joe. I don't. I have no reason for it. No desire for it. But these figures are so good. They photograph so well. They look so great. You got me. You got me, and he's one of them. He looks unbelievable. And to follow him up, I had to get him. I was walking in a Walmart recently, came across this, and said, "Oh man, classic Cobra Commander. Okay, yeah, you have my attention. That is so good." And I'll tell you one thing too. That chrome faceplate they put on him is unreal. Like, that is a straight up mirror. Like, he will actually be difficult to take photographs with because things honestly reflect in his helmet, like directly. It is like he is wearing a mirror. I mean, it is unreal how much reflection exists in that little chrome dome. It's so good. And he's one of the figures that I have that I'm really, really looking forward to opening. Put that to the side here. I got Magic. Magic came at the same time as Jean Grey. And why did I want Magic? Well, first off, I actually do like Magic. And second, that's Colossus' sister. She is not my favorite character ever. And she's not one of those characters that's going to get like a big giant storyline out of me when we go to talk about her. I love the idea that her sword is like her holding her soul. I also love the idea that she is what she is. I love that she becomes like a sorceress supreme. I like that there's this dark angle to her. And I also love that she plays off of something else. That's Kitty's best friend. And something about it just works. Now, I will say this, however. This figure has one bizarre flaw. And at first I thought it was just my figure. And I was like, oh crap, I got a bad one. But then I got looking at it. And I noticed something weird. So there's a gap in her leg right here. There's a gap. A leg gap. Like a thigh gap right here on the pelvis. Where this leg doesn't connect in the same way that this leg connects in. You see how that's seamless? And at first I said, well, that's because they have her leg lifted up a little bit. Then I looked at my figure. And that gap is there. That kind of blew my mind. Like, I don't know exactly what causes that or why that's there, but it's there. And it's noticeable. And it's weird. But otherwise, she looks really solid, aside from the fact that she will not have a lower ab crunch. And if they were really going to do this, it would have been nice if they would have updated the body. But I also know that this is an older figure on re-release, so I'm not mad about it. This isn't like one of those things where I'm like, you should have known better. You have no business releasing figures right now that are out of date. Because look, if you missed your chance to get this, this was your chance. And for me, that's exactly what it was. I didn't get this. I didn't have a chance to get this. I wasn't coming across this in the stores. She wasn't being sold online, really. And when she was, sometimes she was overpriced. They put her back out. It's really just a reissue. That's fine. Sometimes that's all I need is just a chance to own it. And the only way I'm going to get that is with a reissue. Well, here it is. That's fine. But I did think that was really interesting that I have a thigh split right there. But it's on the character portrait on the back here too. So even the photography model that they used had that split. That's weird. It just kind of blows my mind. And the only thing I can guess is, did they work the pelvis to have like a hip cock? Like a permanent hip? I don't know. It's really weird. I really wonder what that's about. And if it's not normal, then how come they would have used it? How come the one that they used for the photography model has it and mine has it? And if others don't have it, luck of the draw? It's just a really weird thing that I noticed, and when I noticed it, I couldn't not notice it. That's one of the things that I mean. And yeah, for anybody that complains about video game movies, they don't even know. Like, they don't even know. We had nothing but bad video game movies. Cobra may be evil, but their benefits are amazing. I'm going live, your video on, but am going to be making some... Oh, okay, yeah, no, absolutely. I get that. But yeah, let's check out these before we move on to the next wave of stuff. So this, I think I talked about him in a video not way too long ago. Awesome. I'm looking forward to this. This will be the first Hal Jordan that I add to the shelf. I bought it because it was gold label. I found it at the same time, like around the same time that I got the Superman. And the Superman was a kind of a gift, almost, in all honesty. I talk about it in the Superman video. But I did want this. I will talk a little bit about it when I open it, because I also wanted this guy because I want to see just how drastic of a difference you can get with a Green Lantern. Because like this guy, I'm going to compare him, of course, to the classic Hal Jordan when I pick up the classic Hal Jordan. And I want to kind of get a feel for just how dramatically different figures can be in the Green Lantern line. And that's part of the reason I got him. I need a Hal just in case this turns out to be the only one that I can get. And it also gives me another chance to complain. I know, petty, right? But what is that? What's this? Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Green Lanterns. So this is the Hal Jordan that we saw in Green Lanterns. In the book that was, it was Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz. That was their book. He shows up in that book. There he is. Who's that? McFarlane. Stop it. Like, over and over and over again, he'll be like, yeah, this is definitely that figure. And then you'll look at it and you'll be like, well, that is the Flash. Or that is Robin, but not from the continuity that you're talking about. And you'll look at the little picture that they give you on the back and the card, and they're like, that's who that is. And you're like, no, it's not. Like, that is happening way too often in this line. It kind of blows my mind. Bad video game movies and even worse movie video games. That's how we rolled. Oh man, dude, some of those were unreasonable. Some of those movie games were some of the worst gaming experiences you could have, period. Speaking of games, The best movie games or series games or anime games were games that didn't just follow, they kind of took it and made it their own, right? They just kind of took it and made it their own. They did their own thing. They said, hey, we have a universe to play in. We have Dragon Ball Z. Let's do Budokai games. Let's do Tenkaichi games. They worked. They worked because you just had to have enough there, enough fan service to make it what it was. Hey, look, this is kind of the series. You're kind of playing through the storyline. Except I expect you to win this fight, not lose it. Little things like that. But you know, one of the games, there was a gaming franchise that did this really well. And it's the reason there are so many good ones. Star Wars has fantastic video games. Yes, they have bad ones. I will not argue that. 100% right. 100% right, they have bad ones as well. But when Star Wars is allowed to just step off, use the universe, expand the potential, and do something that will work for, I don't know, a game, we get this. We get this. That's Bastila, Revan, KOTOR. I've only got one more of these to track down. I need to get Malak. I want Malak. Now that I've got these, there's no holding back. I need Malak. First off, Bastila is literally one of my favorite Jedis, just like Qui-Gon, one of my favorite Jedis ever. But for a different reason other than Qui-Gon. Bastila is the young prodigy that gets too much power too fast and is shoved into a responsibility that she's not ready for. She's competent, but she's shoved into a situation where she is making decisions that she's not honestly ready to deal with the consequences of those situations, of those decisions that she's making. And it does bite her in the butt. Hard. It takes a chunk. It says, hey, I'm a problem. And she's like, yeah, problem, eat my butt. And it goes, and it takes a whole chunk off that butt because she's not ready for it. She actually gets captured by okay, spoilers to anybody that's on a show with a 40-year-old man that played KOTOR back when it first came out, and if you hadn't done it, just skip ahead or something. You should, you know what? You should play KOTOR. But the fact that she gets taken by Malak, and not just taken, she gets manipulated and turned. There's an entire love story where she falls to passions that she's not supposed to be having. She has a psychic force link with a Jedi that is very dangerous, that has already proven on more than one account that he will not be held by the Jedi Order and will not be held by the Council at large. And when he feels that there's something in the passions, something that he feels is right, he's going to go for it. He is a dark Jedi that later, of course, becomes a Sith. But he starts out as a passionate dark Jedi, a person fully believing in the Jedi Order that believes they made a mistake. And he plans to rectify that mistake along with a lot of other people that believed just as much as he did that they should not stay out of the conflict. But that conflict, the Order turns out to be right. And what he found when he went to war was a situation that drove him to the dark side, and he couldn't crawl back out of it. And that builds the entire Sith Empire 4,000 years before Luke and creates a big problem for the galaxy. And she is at the forefront due to a mistake, due to a chance of fate, that Revan ends up in the situation that he ends up in. And she is the one that they tell, you're connected with him. You're going to have to handle this. They don't send a master to do this. They don't send the best of the best to do this. They send a prodigy, but still very young and still very much somebody learning the ways of the Force, still finding her path in the universe. They send her to deal with this. And it bites her. And interestingly enough, years later, we would see this story play out again with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is put through the trial and becomes a Jedi Knight earlier than he should have been. Qui-Gon, believing he has found the Chosen One, sees that there is only one path forward. The Force does not make mistakes in Qui-Gon's eyes. Period. He is put where he is put for a reason. He believes it was to have found this child. And he believes that with proper training, this kid will bring balance to the Force. He will create a whole new path for the Jedi that will then usher in a whole new era for the Jedi way, for the Jedi people, for people in general. And he thinks he's found it. And he thinks he's meant to train this boy. And he thinks the council will go along with that because just like him, the council should understand that the will of the Force is non-negotiable. When the Force wants a thing to happen, it will make that thing happen. And it just so happens that he is the vessel at the time that finds the person and discovers this lineage and is put through all this ordeal and finds the boy and takes him home. And they say, it's not going to happen. We're not interested. No way. The boy is dangerous. It's not going to happen. And he says, well, then I'll take him as my learner. And they're like, no, because Obi-Wan he's not ready to just go on and be a knight. And Qui-Gon does make a mild mistake here. He does claim at that moment, I think Obi-Wan is ready. I think he's ready. I think he needs to go. There's little more that he could ever learn from me. It's Qui-Gon. It's Obi-Wan time. Send Obi-Wan. He's ready for the trials. I'll take this kid as my Padawan learner. He's ready. I don't think he was. I don't think he was at all. I think he was close. But I don't think he was actually ready for the trials. Because just like this situation, you left a person who was not ready to be a master put into the role essentially as a master to look after this. Depending on the way you run the story, it either worked or it didn't work. Either way, they both go against the order and do some things that are not okay because they even very blatantly have kids in a relationship. And of course, later on, you have Satil Shan, who I believe is the granddaughter of Bastila, who will become the High Master. She'll become like the Grand Master of the Jedi Order. I believe you see that storyline in the Knights Online, the Knights of the Old Republic Online thing, the Star Wars Online, Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars: The Old Republic Online or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I believe you get to see that storyline there, but it's interesting to me that the same thing that they messed up on 4,000 years ago plays out again when they take somebody. Anakin didn't need a brother. And that's the best that Obi-Wan would ever become. For Anakin to constantly make claims like, he's like my father. He didn't want you to begin with, dude. Even when you were announced that you're coming back to the ship, the way that he refers to that, Obi-Wan specifically says, why do I get the feeling we've picked up another pathetic life form? He didn't want that kid. And when that kid shows up, he's not interested in that kid. And he very blatantly tells Qui-Gon, the boy's dangerous, they all see it, why can't you? He's on the council's side. So when it all comes to pass, somebody who was not truly ready to be a master was forced in the position of a master, a Jedi Knight who takes a student who just became a Jedi Knight, who's not ready to actually teach, but is now put in command of the most powerful Jedi of the era. And one could argue, a prodigy, certainly very, very good for her time, but possibly the strongest Jedi of the era. Didn't go so well. Let's do it again. Like, I loved KOTOR, and having these two figures is absolutely fantastic. I'm very much going to love opening these up, because Bastila is one of my all-time favorite Jedi. Qui-Gon is one of my all-time favorite Jedi. Bespin Luke is my all-time favorite Luke. Like, I have all my favorite Jedi now. I have them all on the shelf. I need Malak just for the simple fact of I love KOTOR. Like, I absolutely love KOTOR. I think it is one of the greatest games ever made. I think it's absolutely fantastic. As for Ahsoka, what one is the best one? There's a reason I ask that. I know that I want the Ahsoka specifically with 2 white lightsabers, and I want her the more adult Ahsoka. That's the one that I would want personally. Not that I don't want Snips. That's fine. That would be cool on the shelf as well. But the one, if I have to pick one, just one, I want the adult. And what is the best one? Because I know there's like 4 or 5 of them, and I want to get the one that, I guess this is somewhat of a personal opinion as well, but I want to get the one that makes sense for my shelf. Because I only want to buy one. I don't want to buy any more than one. And so that very much limits the aspect. And the reason I'm even saying this is because because it was specifically asked of me. And so yeah, Wes, I'm curious what one I should go after. And KOTOR is the best. It's not debatable. McFarlane never matches figure to the art or anything. He messes. It kind of blows my mind. It's like I was just saying, yeah, because that's the reason I was even bringing it up with him. I was like, what are we doing? Like, why is it always like this? It blows your mind. Like, it's not like a one-off thing. It's all the time. Okay, so that's everything off the floor that we still need to unbox, and everything off of there that we need to unbox. We're not going to worry about the Gunpla. The Gunpla is at the bottom of the shelf. That's not stuff that I'm unboxing, and I have kind of decided I'm not really doing videos on them. I love my Gunpla, but that's kind of my hobby. Maybe, arguably, I will do some live builds where I come on and I'm just talking to you guys and hanging out, and I might put the instructions like right down here and kind of build them while we're talking. I might do that. But otherwise, I don't think I'm going to make those into like videos and constant talking points and things like that. So I don't really need to show them because they're not going to be coming back up in that way here. Maybe I'll do shorts with them, like, hey, just added this to the shelf. But that would be about probably the most of it. Probably. I tried a couple of videos where I built like a couple models, and it was fine, but it's a lot of work to like constantly stop and do the updates in between the build and stuff like that, and the builds already take long enough anyway, so I just don't think that's for me. So, with that in mind, just kind of going up the shelf here, those are going to sit there for right now. But I have Mechaneck. He's another one that I very much... He is by far not one of my favorite things. At all. There's a couple reasons I bought him. One, I like the Masterverse line. And 2, this is going to sound ridiculous, but there are 2 moments for Mechaneck that stand out to me. 1, when I was reading the comic books, Mechaneck survives the war with Hordak. And when they're in discussion as to the champions that they currently have that they can use, Mechaneck is one of the ones that are brought up. And Tila goes, Mechaneck? And they go, well, yeah, and she goes, his neck gets longer. His neck gets longer. Like, even she's like, what are we doing? What is this guy? And the second that I bought him, it's just so petty and so stupid, but I'm telling you it's the truth. One of the things that my daughter likes to do with me, which is crazy, it really does. It kind of blows my mind. She actually likes Motu. And I mean, she likes Motu. She has watched all of Revelation, all of Revolution, all of the original series with me. And then we started watching that CGI series on Netflix, and both me and her were like, we got one disc in, so 7 episodes, and we were both like, I don't think I like this. Like, at all. Like, I don't think this show is for me. Oh, and she watched all of She-Ra, or most all of She-Ra with me. And one of the things that she constantly says all the time, because I'll bring it up, I'll be like, what about Neckman? And she'll be like, Dad, Neckman is stupid. He's the worst character in Motu. His neck gets longer. That nobody cares. So I bought him because I care. That's the reason I have Mechaneck. That's the literal reason why I have Mechaneck. And yes, it's not that those videos don't have some merit, but like, I just don't know if I will. Live builds seem like they would make more sense, because I could sit right here and I could be like, look at this, or different things like that. I think that would make sense for me, but I don't think I'm going to be doing any more of the long fold videos. The Batmobile I'm looking for is the new one from the Caped Crusader series. Oh, okay. All right. I get that. Okay, so let's go up another shelf here. Whoop. This shelf right here is my stuff to open shelf. That is what this shelf is specifically sitting here for, or was for the longest time. But since I plan to really hunker down and start opening a lot of this stuff up, and I wanted to do like a video like this, because then if I get comments on the actual video as to like stuff people really want me to talk about, a figure they really want to see, they really want my opinion on it, I'll know kind of what to prioritize, unless for a certain reason I already have something prioritized like winter stuff. Because that probably will end up being a minor priority so I can get some stuff open for some winter shots. But you get the idea. I have Slushhead. He's waiting to be opened. Why did I get him? I don't like the New Adventures of He-Man. At all. At all. It is not my show. I do not like it. I don't like the aspects. I mostly don't like the designs. But if I'm being honest, every time Masterverse does a figure, they just do them well. And this guy is no exception. He just works, man. So I bought him. I was interested almost immediately, even though he won't fit a lot of my other aspects. He was just very well done. So I got him. I, of course, also have Ram Man. Ram Man is one of the figures that we're going to have to open. And I love Ram Man when he's like this. When he's big and he's basically like the Juggernaut. For me, that is what Ram Man should be. I like him in the original series. But if I had to pick a way that he should be, that's what I want. I want him to be a big, giant, crazy knight like the Juggernaut. That's what I want him to be. And I am also very much looking forward to that pack. And I also think that once I have this cleared off, I'm also thinking about bringing the Star Wars back into the room. But they will only get a small shelf because I'm only collecting the 6-inch line and very specific figures of the 6-inch line. So I only have like 12. That's not a huge collection, and I don't expect it to get overly huge. So I think that they can have their own shelf and it would be safe. I don't think they need to be garage figures. I think it'll be fine. But the toy garage is a project that I probably am going to lean into next year pretty hard, see if I can get that going. I've never watched Motu. Does he use the extending battle neck to defeat foes. No, his neck gets long. And as I constantly tell my kid, he can see far. He's got robot eyes. So his neck, he gets long, and then he can see far. And she goes, no, yeah, so can anybody with a pair of binoculars. And I'm like, yeah, but they can't see from up there. They have to climb. And she's like, so what? You're talking about guys that can punch through mountains. They can climb. Like, she gives all the time. She's like, he's so stupid. She hates him. But I got to admit, there's something about him being so ridiculous that I love him regardless. Mechaneck uses his neck to see into Grayskull's top windows. So he can... No! Bad liquid! Bad! That's terrible! Oh my gosh. Yes, he's a built-in periscope. He's one of the dumbest Masterverse characters in a world that does nothing but the ridiculous, and most of the time does it very well. He is a level of ridiculous that's hard to justify. And that kind of makes him great. If you want the truth of it. I have her. There's a reason I bought her. This is going to be wild. First off, I thought she was really cool. And most of the G.I. Joes that I buy, this is one of the lines that either I have some sort of association through my childhood, or I really much liked action figure therapy, which probably isn't the best reason to be buying G.I. Joes, but I do. And then there's a third reason. They just look really cool. And then there's a fourth, which this one doesn't come off very often because I don't have a lot of G.I. Joe history. But this part I do. This one character I have G.I. Joe history with. One, I did have this toy when I was growing up. I had this Red Ninja. It was one of my very few female characters, so she was used all the time when I would play guys. She would be like girlfriends, or she'd be the damsel in distress, or she'd be the really cool girl that like was, she'd like really super strong and would sometimes even beat up all the guys and whatnot, and they'd be like, oh my god, who is this girl? But, her, this is wild, I have only ever seen one episode of G.I. Joe. That is it. I saw one episode ever. In all the time that G.I. Joe has ever been on TV, in all the time that they've ever done series, in all the time that there's ever been G.I. Joe ever, I have only seen one episode. This was a long time. Long time ago. So I'm not going to claim to know what the episode was or anything. And I only really remember one part of it. Jinx is in it. And she's in like a dojo or something. And she's sparring with Beachhead. That's what I remember. It is the only episode of G.I. Joe I have ever seen. Ever. So when they released Beachhead, I was like, oh, cool. I know Beachhead. Click. And then they were like, we're releasing Jinx. And I was like, what? And it just kind of blew my mind that these two came out so close together. And it just so happens to be the only episode of G.I. Joe that I have ever seen. So I bought Jinx. I think she's absolutely cool looking. I like the idea that she thinks that she's bad luck. So that's the reason she took the name Jinx. I also really like the weapon choices that she gets. And I really like the idea that they did the two different heads. The one where she's unmasked and the one where she's masked. And I also like that they gave her the ability to put the blindfold on, because I think that's also really cool as well. This character, just all in all, is awesome. And yes, I'm very much aware, I had it when I was a kid, that she's not supposed to be sleeveless. But you know what? She's supposed to be sleeveless. Now that I've seen her like this, This is the way I want to see her. Period. This is a fantastic, well done redesign. I love it. I love everything about it. This is utterly perfect. Completely on board. Beachhead. There he is. See? And I will probably open him and Jinx at the same time in the same video. Probably specifically so that I can tell that story again. Like, if I'm being honest, there's a very real possibility that that's the way that will go down. Because it just kind of blows my mind how that worked out. Every now and then something just kind of awkwardly feels like fate. Like, whoa, that's... the stars just aligned there for a second, and I just get interested. I finally got my hands on the first run Beastman. This is after time skip Beastman, and he's not wearing all of his gear and whatnot, and he has the scars and everything. And as far as I'm concerned, I've talked about this, I love Revelation. And I'm more than okay with this Beastman. I have no problem with it. I'm sure that he will not bother me in any way whatsoever when we go to open him and whatnot. I will more than likely love him for what he is, because I don't need him to be anything other than what he is, a big beast man that fights barbarian dudes. He's shirtless. His beard is a bit different than the original. Is he going to be better than the other one that I currently have on the shelf? No. But he's also not supposed to be. And so I'm fine with that. We just discussed this. That I don't like this He-Man series. But dang it, man. When Masterverse does figures, they just do them well. Like... this is gnarly, where the helmet actually comes off and there's all that scar tissue and everything under his... oh my god. Like, that is so good. He is so good. The only argument I have against these is that by now, in the line, by now, and we should know this. We should know this. McFarlane Toys, the DC Multiverse line, is behind the times in terms of action figures. They don't move that well. They're an awkward size. Sometimes they photograph badly, and I have called out problems with their legs and issues and things like that over and over and over again. When I find them and I like them, I like them. That is what it is. But I am not one of those people that will shill for a line that I feel is behind the times. Compare a Marvel Legends to a DC Multiverse and tell me that they match in quality. Because I don't see it engineering-wise. I get more out of Masterverse than I ever get out of DC Multiverse. That's not to say that I haven't liked it. I've been collecting it. We just did an entire talk about them. But even they are now figuring out that it's time for the capes to be built with wireframes. Cloth, wireframe capes. A Masterverse. What are you doing? And let me call it out a little harder, by the way. Masterverse. You already did a figure with a wireframe cape. If you were going to do a wireframe cape for King Grayskull, then what? Wireframe these capes, Masterverse. Mattel. Wireframe these capes, as if anybody from Mattel would ever listen to my tiny, barely over 1K subscribers, but do it! Give me the capes! Give it to me! and then we're going to turn around and praise Masterverse right after I get done saying something about them. Oh no! Reset the camera. Bam, bam. There. I really hate that I have to keep doing that. I've got to get this lights. I've got to mount a light there and mount a light there and point them down. I've got to get that taken care of so that we don't have this during live streams. But hey, Masterverse, good job. Like, good job. Awesome. That is what I need in my life. That is Prince Adam. That is Prince Adam that will go fine with that cringer back there. That is Prince Adam that will be small. That is Prince Adam that will sit beautifully next to Tila. That is Prince Adam that came with a laughing, hey yeah, He-Man head. Like, I love this. I love everything about this. He even comes with the power sword and a glowing in first point transformation power sword. Everything about this is awesome. The only thing I don't like about this figure is that. What am I talking about? Masterverse. I don't know what's going on, Mattel. I don't. Mattel, Masterverse. Why is he so impossible to obtain? And why is he well over $100 on the aftermarket? And why, if you see that, why is there not another release of this guy? Like, come on. I needs him. And I needs to not pay $100 to gets him. But, oh well, I guess. He's one of those guys that's going to sit in the background for a very long time. I don't know when I will actually have the chance to obtain one because that is pretty expensive. And I just don't know when I'll have the opportunity to obtain one. I really don't. I also, of course, have Stridor. He was one of those guys that came out in Masterverse, and I really, really like him in Masterverse. Outside of Masterverse, I have not bought a single Stridor. I don't like him. Like, almost at all. I'm not a big fan of him in the series. I'm not a big fan of the way they do the avian characters in general. I think he's kind of bizarre and doesn't necessarily match my idea of an avian breeded creature thing. He's more like an ape-like creature that can fly for some reason and wears feather garments on his arms. Sure? It's not necessarily for me. But in this Masterverse, where they gave him like this helmet thing and this thing that he can wear with the mask that comes down and connects here into an apparatus, and because they do use a magical artifact that gives them all the power of flight, maybe they're not avian creatures. You get what I'm saying? Like maybe they were one kind of creature that just so happened to get this item that is slowly turning them into avian creatures, but it's a millions of years process, or thousands of years process through the magic, because there are parts of them, like when you look at the artwork and you see the legs and whatnot, there's avian features here, but I don't feel like they're there yet. And that has always kind of bothered me. And then there's always like the weirdness, like these are avian creatures or men that use a magical artifact that gives them the power of flight, but then like he has a jetpack. Like, why do you have a jetpack? What do you need with a jetpack? Heck, there's even an episode where they steal the egg thing that gives them the power of flight, and then they're like, oh my god, we're not going to be able to fly anymore. And I'm like, but you're wearing a jetpack. What does the jetpack do? Like, this character does nothing but confuse me. But when Masterverse does a good figure, I stand up and pay attention. And Masterverse does good figures, and I wanted him, even for all the complaints that I have made. Yes, this is a Black Widow figure. Yes, it is a Scarlett Johansson Black Widow figure. Yes, it is the simple figure from that big line of always on the shelf figures. If you go into any Walmart or anything like that, you will, by chance, you will more than likely come across this set of figures. Not so much her anymore. I haven't come across her in a long time, but I see the Iron Man all the time. I see the Spider-Man all the time, and I see the Mark Ruffalo all the time, and I also see the Captain America a good portion of the time. Did I already say that? Regardless, I see those characters a lot. I haven't seen her in a while, so I'm actually really glad I picked her up. Because I think that this is an unbelievably good Scarlett Johansson head. I think it's done very, very, very well. And because I am the kind of person I am, okay, most of the time when I watch shows like this, I tend to gravitate towards the characters that I feel have earned it. Like, they feel human. The reason I have problems with things like Batman is because Batman is always claiming to be this human, this normal guy. He broke his butt, and he's really good, and he did everything he could do, and he trained and trained and trained. But he's not human. Like, there's nothing relatable about the Batman. From his money to his ability to his intelligence, there's nothing that makes me feel like a man could achieve that. And when you're in a team of superpowered people, it is really cool when Captain America can throw a shield and it bounces off 4 things and hits a guy, and then he jumps and he kicks a dude and he does all this crazy stuff, and like a bomb can blow up in his face and he puts the shield up and it kind of pushes him back. All of these things are really cool. I like Captain America. Blatantly, I do. But this impresses me more. She infinitely impresses me and has my attention in every scene that she's in because, one, they don't play her as an ultra-strong female, okay? Yes, she beats butt, but when she does it in a way that's believable. When she beats up men, she does so with the weapons, experience, brutality, quick fighting, and whole body force that she needs to take down a man. Men are biologically stronger than women. Now, let me back that up for a second. I have done fighting. I've done mixed martial arts. I've done boxing. And I have been beaten by women. Because when a woman knows more grappling than you do and she has control of you, you lose that fight. And it's very believable to me. When she jumps on a guy and she whips around, she takes him down, she grabs a hold of his arm, she pops it out of socket, she uses those jet streams on her arms and things like that. All of these things make sense to me in terms of what she is meant to be. And she seems the most human character of all the characters as well when I watch it, and when she receives damage or something happens, that she responds to it in a way that feels human to me, where the guys just kind of press forward. Now, I do like the fact that later on they gave Iron Man post-traumatic stress disorder. I actually really like that. I like that because it makes a lot of sense for a human person to go through the kind of ordeal that these heroes go through, and they would suffer consequences for that. And that's one of the things I really, really love about Black Widow, is she is always facing the consequences of every fight that she's in and every ordeal that she faces. and it just feels believable to me, and it makes her one of my favorite things in the Marvel movies. Like, I really, really, really loved this character, and I think it's an absolute testament to the acting abilities of Scarlett Johansson in general, which this opened me up to the idea that Scarlett Johansson was a legit actress. Sometimes people get hired for what they are. They're the funny guy. They're the pretty girl. They're the bombshell. I'm not saying that's necessarily wrong. But every now and then there are actors and actresses that are actors and actresses. And she feels like one. I'm impressed. This opened my eyes to her being a legit actress. And I respect her ever so much for what she did with this. And a lot of her other projects have proven that time and time again. This girl does emotions. So yes, out of all the Marvel characters, live action, you'll notice I have comic book people up there. I bought Scarlett Johansson. And there is legit reason as to why. It is. It is about 8 o'clock. So we're getting awful close to that point. But I actually eat rather early. By the time I get off work and whatnot, I usually eat like right when I get home, because I usually need to. With my stint with diabetes and whatnot, it kind of the way that I eat is very different. Like today, I kind of ate bad. You notice I've been drinking off of this. I did stop off and have a burger, but I only do that once a week. The rest of the time, so like every morning I have fruit for breakfast. That's it. Fruit. That's what I do. I take a little bowl of fruit. I eat the fruit, maybe a yogurt, something like that. And then for lunch, I'll have a salad. And then for dinner, I usually do a stir fry, a chicken, something of that nature. But once a week, I like to step off and do something like a pizza or something like that. And this week, because, like I said, my wife works 2 jobs. In order to get her to work on time, we ran through the drive-thru, and I did have a burger today. Okay, we are almost done here. Agent Helix. I don't know what this character is. I bought this character once again because she's cool. Fixing the camera. Bow! Bow! I gotta fix those lights. This has kind of been a wild episode. We're constantly having to turn the feed off and on. This character she just looks cool. Like, look, the rule of cool sometimes really works. And G.I. Joe is one of those things that I'm getting into it now. I was never into it as a young man. I played with the toys. This was definitely not one of those toys. I never read the comic books. Well, okay. I read maybe 20 comics ever. And I never saw any of the G.I. Joes past the live-action movies, which I knew weren't great. The first one was fine for an action movie, and that was about the best of it. But through this line, through Classified, I am discovering figure after figure after figure that just is good. And that's enough to get me interested enough through entering this toy line. I did buy the original series. I bought it. It's downstairs. I plan to start watching it hopefully next year. And then I'll go from there. I'm interested in reading some of the comics and whatnot, but Agent Helix, man, the second I saw her, she was an instant buy. I was like, what is that? Dude, she's got those like blades that come up around her wrist, or she's got them down like this, and then she's got 2 swords, and then she's got this like little Band-Aid. I don't know what that is, but like it intrigues me. Like there's got to be a reason, right? I don't know. That's cool. She is cool, and I'm very interested to learn a little bit more about her as I go. Some of these G.I. Joes are just, they're just good. Like, Helix looks great on the shelf. A real eye popper. A third of the G.I. Joes that I have bought are for that reason. She's no different. She's just cool. Yes. Yes. He comes with an eagle. He comes with an eagle. Native American, warrior, got the awesome rifle here, good backpack, everything's designed. I like his knife. His knife, not that you can see it right now because of my camera. Everything about this dude is cool. And, oh, the price tag fell off of him. Well, anyways, I found this guy at a third-party shop. You know, one of those, like, they just take figures and they sell them back off the shelf or whatever. I found this guy at one of those shops for $9 and was like, oh, dude, for $9, this dude looks freaking awesome. Yeah. Spirit Iron Knife. Is his name Spirit? I thought the bird was named Freedom or something like that. See, that's how much I know about G.I. Joe. I just know that some of these figures, they look good. And when they look good, they catch my attention. And when they catch my attention, especially if I find them at a super low rate price, why am I not going to add them to the shelf? You know what I mean? Like, they're just good figures, man. They're pound for pound some of the best figures on the market right now. No question. Classified is a good toy line as far as toys go. Hero. Why wouldn't I? In terms of the back cross-sell now, I have everything. Great. I love to finish a box. This guy's cool. Minor arguments. Is this meant to be gold armor? And if it's meant to be shiny gold, as I've seen him in some of the animations and whatnot, why is it so dull? We couldn't have done better on that? I'm not even necessarily asking for, like, I don't even need that to be like vac metal. I don't even need that level of shine, though it would have been cool. But, like, at the very least, you could have matched what you did on the headband. That gold paint, I feel, should have been included in the gold parts of him. I feel like this figure is a minor misstep. Not one that will, like, make me mad and make me not like him, but I do feel like they did a misstep here with this one. I feel like he could have been better, and I feel like he should have been better. But he's still a solid Masterverse figure for what it is. So, yeah. Well. Okay, never mind. For a second, I thought maybe I was getting a text. Nope, not a problem. Oh. We may have to do another one of these episodes later, because we are coming up on 3 hours here, and we are not done. This is a lot. I'm stopping to talk and everything in between a lot of this stuff. I'm not just kind of showing it off, so that's part of the reason why. Just trying to hang out. We have movie Evil, not cartoon collection Evelyn. I have a problem. One, in the cartoon, she is not yellow. So why they went to the yellow? Because this line has been flawless. This cartoon line has been flawless. So I don't understand why this is like, this is the misstep of the cartoon line so far. She's yellow. She's not supposed to be. Where's her cape? Like, her cape, it's even there in the artwork. You even put it in the artwork. Where's the cape? That's like releasing She-Ra without the cape, which they didn't do. The animated She-Ra looks fantastic. What is happening here exactly? Like, what is going on? Why is this such a misstep when the rest of the line is nay perfect? I don't get it. I really don't. It really does confuse me. On the other end of things, though, a spy door. A web store. Sorry, he's not spy door. I do that all the time with this character. I don't know why, but I've been doing that literally since as long as I've been into Motu. As long as I've been into Motu. Really? Oh, that'll be interesting when I open it. It's an eagle-colored seagull. That head is a shame. That head is a shame. That'll be interesting. Otherwise, from just looking inside the package, it didn't look bad. So that's interesting. What store did I get her from? Because I'm just now looking. I'm wondering if you meant Evelyn. If you are talking about Evelyn, I just got her from Big Bad. Most of these figures now I'm just ordering online because I like toy hunting. But I'm now getting to the point where I take $200 or $300 with me to a con and I toy hunt. Otherwise, you know what I really like more than toy hunting? Getting toys. And I can't tell you how often I'm going to Target after Target after Target, Walmart after Walmart after Walmart, Ollie's after Ollie's after Ollie's, and I find nothing. Nothing. So I'm at a point now where if I want it, and I have the money, I'm just ordering it. Because I can't, I don't want to take the chance of not getting what I want. Snake Man, Reptilax. I have a couple of Snake Man. I like these Snake Man figures a lot. To finish that up, I did get the re-release of Triclops, so that'll be cool when we decide to go over it. I got Duke. I got Duke from the Joes. He looks really solid. He looks really solid. Like, I gotta give it to him. When they do these classic figures, they really do go out of their way to make sure that these classic figures are what they're supposed to be. I'm very impressed. And I actually liked this. Every now and then I like these classic figures more than I like the classified figures. But most of the time I like the redesigns in classified. But I gotta hand it to them. Every now and then they'll release one of these classics that I'm like, hey, that feels right compared to classics. Yeah, classified. So I had to take a break from spending, and I'm hoping that I don't get bit for this, but I didn't purchase anybody in that wave yet. And I'm really hoping I don't get screwed for that, because I know that there's going to be an entire line of Masterverse things that I'm going to have to hunt down that will probably be tough to get soon, because I know how this line has been going. It's been starting to slip into territories where if you don't pre-order your stuff, there's a chance you're never getting it. And I really don't like that. Like, that drives me crazy. I really hate that, but it is starting to fall into that territory. But here's hoping. As for that Evelyn, I don't know. I'm sure I could find out, but there's still 2 shelves of this. Let's see if we can't get through it. Okay, we'll start Battle Armor He-Man. This is one that I'm looking forward to because I have the other Battle Armor He-Man, and I'm interested to put these two to the test and kind of look them over and kind of get a feel for what I think is going on. Although this is a point to point out, this is Revolution Battle Armor He-Man. And so, unlike some other people that just don't make sense to me, I see this complaint all the time where they're like, this isn't like the toy that I had when I grew up. What did you think you bought? Or like the people that bought that Gambit recently, the 97 Gambit, and they were like, he looks too much like a cartoon. You know this is X-Men 97 Gambit, right? You know this is a figure based specifically on the cartoon, right? Like what did you think you were buying? That blows my mind when people do that. They're like, oh, this just isn't right. I think this is bad. The last Gambit was more comic book and it just had better colors and this guy looks too much like a cartoon. And every time I hear that, I'm stupefied. Like I cannot fathom what they're talking about. Because that's what they're supposed to be. I don't know. I don't get it. This I got at the Overstock. I go to a place called Overstock Toy Store. What they do is they buy trucks. They buy trailers of overstock toys that need to be left from inventory, or maybe their packaging was damaged, so they weren't allowed to go on like the Target store shelves and stuff like that. They buy these trailers and then they bring them into the store. They're called the Overstock Toy Store, and then they sell the stuff at overstock prices, like prices where their entire intent is to move inventory, not gut you. So I got this very fantastic Boba Fett. With all the flames, all the stuff, very, very well sculpted, Black Series, 6-inch, top of the line. This is one of the best Boba Fetts that I've ever seen on the market. Honestly, I'm being serious about that. $10. $10. Maybe the price makes it right. Maybe that's the reason I think he's so good. But he's really, really good. $10. And I think that also impresses me because I have seen a lot of these figures go for prices that are ridiculous. Because, Boba Fett almost feels like he has a straight up Boba Fett tax. I will see a Boba Fett next to a Darth Vader on the shelf, very much right there on the shelf next to each other from the same line released in the same wave. Darth Vader will be $20. Boba Fett will be $34. No reason at all. The only thing he comes with is his gun and his backpack. Well, Vader's sitting there with the lightsaber and like 4 different kinds of cloth fabric. And he's just like, they're just like, whatever, just take him. And yes, yeah, that's I frequent that store a lot because I never know what I'm going to find. Sometimes you find nothing. That's the luck of the draw. But every now and then I'll go there and I'll just be stupefied. I'll be like, wait a second, what? And I'll see it on the shelf and he'll be like, yeah, it's like $6 or whatever. And I'm like, ah! Because that's actually also where I got the Captain America that we're going to come across, is I got that from Overstock. I have Dalsim. That's another figure that this is magnificent. Like the long legs and arms, and they actually have a wireframe inside so they can kind of bend and everything. And this guy, guys, Jada Toys just can't help but do fantastic figures. They just can't help it, man. They do fantastic figures. There's my Andrew Garfield, which leaves me only one of these figures left to track down. I still need to get a... oh, damn it. Now I'm going to forget his name. I have Tobey Maguire. I have Andrew Garfield. I need, I can't remember his name. I can't. Oh my gosh. New Spider-Man. I need new Spider-Man. I can't believe I can't remember his name. I cannot remember his name. Tom Holland? Yeah. Wait, no. Damn it. Wait, am I right? Oh, this is, I cannot believe this. Did I just get it right? No, Tom Holland. I did get it right. Okay. Wow. My mind went completely blank for some reason. I could not remember. But that's the only Spider-Man I have left to get from that wave. And yes, I will agree. These Spider-Men, something about them feels slightly janky. I loved it when I opened the Andrew when I opened the Tobey Maguire. I really liked him a lot. But compared to other Marvel Legends, and especially other Spider-Men, he does move. He feels stiff. He doesn't feel like he moves quite right. And I can't get him into poses that I want. And it does kind of blow my mind a little bit because he seems like a bad Spider-Man for the quality that I come to expect from Marvel Legends. And I have a feeling he's the same because I'm hearing from a lot of people that this wave of Spider-Man figures, that everybody is telling me that they kind of felt like that. And that's a real shame because I don't think we're ever going to see this again in this line. Sure, you have the other variants if you want to go Mafex and things like that. I'm not saying you can't go for other options and that maybe you should because these do feel a little awkward. But at this point, I'm already 2 in. I'm just going to get the final swing and I'm going to deal with it because I want each of them on the shelf, and that's the way that I'm going to get them, especially because I'm already 2 in. I have 1 to go. If I have to pay $40, $50, $60, I guess that sucks, but maybe I'll have to do it. That right there? Yes. See, this is what I'm talking about. Jada releases a guy this big, 2 heads, double hands, shoulder pads, a different set of shoulder pads, an effect, a stand. He's that freaking big, and he has a wireframe cape. He is the same price as the other figures in the line. Jada just can't help but rock it. He does not have a comb. That is a true statement. He does not have a comb. Probably why he decided to wear a hat. But it just blows my mind. Like how they could do so well. Figure after figure after figure after figure after figure. I have God Doom. God Doom is on the shelf. He is also from the Overstock Toy Store. And looks like this guy did cost me a little bit. This guy I paid $17 for. Not terrible. I mean, it's still cheaper than buying him regular price. So I did get a deal one way or another. And he's not exactly the best Doom figure you're ever going to get. He is very much one of those things that if you recognize him from a storyline, you'll probably think this is really cool. Otherwise, you probably will want regular Doom. And regular Doom costs regular real money. That Doom up there is expensive. Like, his price is going up, 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 up. And it ain't coming down. I'm noticing that. He was a very lucky buy, that guy right up there. He's a cool buy. This is the figure everybody was talking about. I did get one. I've been told she is the best female buck that Marvel Legends has ever seen. That her posability is magnificent. The amount of stuff she comes with is outrageous. And everybody tells me that this is something that I will absolutely love. And I don't doubt it for a second. Why have I not opened it yet? Because I bought it and I just have not gotten around to it. And it really is that simple. It's just like I talk about all the time. As you can see, one figure after another here sits here and kind of gets lost to the rhythm. And she's just another one of those that I would love to open her up and love to go over her. And I have a lot of things that I'd like to talk about when I do so. I just haven't gotten to it. And it's really no more complicated than that. I wish it was more complicated than that. But there is a huge difference between what I am doing and what some other collectors do. Other collectors that don't have a YouTube. It's really that simple. I'm doing a YouTube. Other collectors that don't have a YouTube, they would get this figure in the mail, they'd open it. They'd open it. Or they'd put it on the shelf if they're an inbox. I'm not bad-mouthing one collecting pattern over another. I'm just telling you my experience. You would open yours. You would get it, open it up, play with it. What really slows you down when you do content, especially if you're doing the kind of content that I do, is I need the free time to do said content. And then on top of that free time, I have to be able to film the video. And then, of course, say tonight, I didn't do this. What I would have done is I would have opened, say, six figures at best. Each video takes relatively 40 to 50 minutes to film. Because I gotta get everything ready. I gotta put it over there, set the light up, sit on the chair. Then I do the intro part, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'm gonna open this. Then I go, hey, blah, 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 here's my thoughts in here. Then I switch the camera, pull it up, put the stuff down on the floor, pull it back, make sure the table is right, put the item on the table, unbox it over here. I usually come over here and I usually hit play on my music or something like that. I cut it open, unbox everything, make sure everything's accounted for, take it back there, set it up, move the lights, put that there, film that part, talk about that. That's another 10 whatever minutes. Then put that back there, go sit, talk a little while. By the time all of this is done, it's taken me relatively 40 to 50 minutes to film what comes out to be a 25 to 32 minute video, somewhere in there. And then I got to edit that video. And I like to watch everything that I edit in real time. I don't like to just kind of click them in there, hit the buttons, and be done. And as I watch, I take notes. This is my book that I specifically take notes in that tell me what different videos I may have referenced. If I said, hey, this is something that we've already talked about, or we just got done with this or whatever, I make the note that I've said that as I'm editing, and then I can go in and add the annotations when I put it on YouTube. Like this video won't have annotations, but most every single other one of my videos that I've ever posted, especially in the last 2 years, all usually have annotations that will take you to other videos that I'm specifically talking about in those videos. Normally. And so that takes a good portion of time. So per one figure, like just to open this guy right here, that can be an hour and a half. Just this one guy. Talk about him, do that, do the stuff, film everything, put the camera up here, transfer the footage onto the computer, take the computer, edit, listen to the entire video, make sure it's right, listen to it in real time, hit the button, render it, upload it, click the buttons, put in all the tags and everything like that, and then finally, go back and open another figure. So I may only get through opening about 6 a night. And these things build up, especially if I've got like entire waves coming in. So yeah, this is why I get so far behind. And it's the reason I decided to do the show the way I do it, because I don't have, especially with my work schedule, I don't have the ability to come in here and open as fast as I would like to. And I also don't necessarily want to do my opening this way because I don't feel like I have the setup live to be able to open it live and do my show that way. Otherwise, I probably would. It probably wouldn't be the worst idea if I can work on my setup to be able to open them and talk about them right here in real time. But I don't know if that would go over as well as what I'm currently doing where I film over there. Maybe I need to try it once or twice. Maybe I need to set up a couple film dates and say, hey guys, tonight we're going to open Triclops and literally do it live. Hit the button, say, hey, welcome everybody, yada yada, today's Triclops. But then I also feel like that would really change the flow of the videos I'm doing. And then I would have to go back and add the annotations, which would be rough. I don't know. I don't know what the best idea here is, if I'm being completely honest. And that's the reason my videos take as long as they do. And that's the reason that sometimes my material piles up the way that it does. But nature of YouTube, I guess. There's that, and that. Okay. First, this is an old figure. This figure was given to me by my buddy Seth a long time ago. And I brought it home. And at the time, I was not opening figures. I was like an inbox collector, and I just wanted to put it on the shelf. Then as I became an opener, for some reason this guy fell into the background and never got opened. I don't have a reason why. It was almost like a weird thing, like, well, I've got him and I don't want to mess him up or something like that. Well, over the course of the last couple of years, I've been opening all my figures, and I have this outstanding Figma Bruce Lee, who looks like a really solid figure. I have a couple other Bruce Lees, and they're open. I need to open this figure. He looks cool. He looks like he's probably going to be a really solid piece. And he's been on the shelf for like 4 or 5 years now. And he's one of the only guys that I have like this where he was always meant to be opened and then like never got opened. And I need to. It is an awesome Bruce Lee. Next, Overstock Toy Store, $15. There it is. Right there. Ultimate Captain America. Is this the Captain America I want on the shelf? Not necessarily. I know he's a good figure. I liked Ultimate Captain America. There he is. The price was right. I just happened to be I happened to be looking for a Captain America, found him and said, "Ooh, man. All right, I'm going to do it. The price is right. I'm right here. It's here. It looks great. I know it's a good sculpt. I'm going to buy it." So I bought it. The only thing that sucks about it, I want the is it the 80-year anniversary Captain America? I wanted that one. That's the one that I wanted on the shelf, specifically, if I wanted one Captain America. And they're releasing that buck again very soon. Not soon. I think some people already actually have it. Because we've got the Secret Wars Captain America, but his shield is broken. But I do have a shield there on the guy that I just showed you. So I think that's my new bet now, is that's still the classic Captain America I want. I think he still comes with the unmasked head. I don't know. I'd have to go look again. Maybe he doesn't. I think he does. I think he does. Regardless, that's the Captain America I want. That's the body I want. That's the classic Captain America for building an Avengers on my shelf. That's what I want. So I'm going to buy that. And when I do, when I do buy that, I'll already have the shield because I have Ultimate Captain America. So for any kind of photography I want to do, I'll have an intact shield and a broken shield. And yes, they won't look exactly the same, but they'll be enough that I'll get the illusion from what I'm wanting to do with each one. I think it'll be fine. I'm not opening anything tonight. Not my intention tonight, but I am considering, like I said, doing a couple live opens soon. I've been playing Yakuza Infinite Wealth after watching Seth play it while he was waiting for you to call in. Oh, yes, I've seen Seth play it a little bit. It does look like a fun game. Next, Mystique. Mystique. A long while ago, I did a video about this Mystique. And I think that video specifically, I called it, "She's Naked, Deal With It." There she is. I like this Mystique. I think this makes the most sense for her powers that anything ever could. And I know that she's always kind of been like in the white dress and then she changes and they don't really explain how her clothes are changing unless she was always naked to begin with and she's never actually wearing clothes. Because that's the only way her clothes are changing. Unless her clothes are made from unstable molecules, kind of like with the Fantastic Four. But that also means that she had to have acquired that technology from the Fantastic Four, from Reed. And I don't see that happening unless she somehow stole it. That's also possible, but I don't know if that storyline exists. And if there's no explanation for it, then she's not actually wearing that white dress at all, because the only way her powers make sense to function in any way whatsoever is this. I like this Mystique. And when it comes right down to it, I don't apologize for that. I think she's really cool. And that's all she needs to be for me to love her. She's really cool. She was one of my favorite parts of the entirety of those movies. So when I noticed there was a figure, I bought her. Last figures. Okay, these are the last figures on the shelf that we need to talk about, and then this video will be done. And I will start sorting out a filming schedule to not only get these figures talked about and opened, but also to start getting the shelf taken care of, because like I said, we still have that project that we want to do. And Rebecca Romijn was in canon naked. Yeah, she is. Oh, and by the way, Rebecca Romijn, I love her in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Wow. Just wow. She makes that character all it is. She is fantastic. Remember I said I went back to GameStop and then I was looking around and that I knew that I didn't necessarily love the idea of being back in GameStop, but I had to get that one action figure out of the way. I had to get that box, and at the same time, I also knew that I wanted to look around because I was in there, and I said that I found something that I thought that I was never going to be able to get. It was this. I found her just right there on the shelf at a GameStop, and I could not believe it. Because as far as I was understanding, she has become difficult to obtain. I could be wrong. maybe that was just at the time that I was looking, because I'd heard that she was absolutely unbelievable. That the way that they'd done this with getting all the arms to work and everything was spot on. People were calling this figure of the year for a while there. And she was on everybody's top 10 list. So I went looking for her because every video I saw made me go, oh man, she is cool. And I couldn't find her anywhere. Anywhere. I found her at a GameStop. Like, that blew me away. What you just said there? She's very cool, but she actually still peg warms at Toys R Us. We don't have Toys R Us anymore. You guys do. We don't. We don't have one, not just in our area. Like, one of the only Toys R Us's that I know of is like in an airport. And it's very much just a gimmicky shop that sells like new figures that are all the same figures that you find in a Walmart. Like we just simply do not have it anymore. And it's a real, real crying shame. Cartoon collection, Man-at-Arms. There he is. Teela's dad. Fantastic. What else am I going to say? We will get to him. We will open him. Teela needs a dad. That is fantastic. That's Jennika. That's the 5th Ninja Turtle. That's the female Ninja Turtle. That's not Venus de Milo. I don't care what anybody's opinion is about a female turtle, about a 5th turtle, and how people are so hardcore about there are only 4 turtles and that's all there's ever going to be. Jennika, period. I don't care. This comic series made her work. This is a perfect fit. And as far as I'm concerned, from this point on, as we move forward in the lineage, in the world of Ninja Turtles, and we get take after take after take, from animated series to movies to more comic books to new lines, I know she's going to be deleted and forgotten from the mythology as time goes on, and it is a disservice. Jennika is the 5th Ninja Turtle, and she works so frickin' well. I love Jennika, and when I heard they were doing a figure, I had to have it. Jennika. Oh, and also the Shredder, because, like, I mean, you know, why not? I love this line of comics. And so when I bought Jennika, I bought the Shredder. Because this line of comics is unbelievably good. Like, it was so freaking good. The IDW wave was absolutely standout. And I love having figures from that line, from that wave. And the BTS is doing an absolute fantastic job with all of those toys. Like, an absolutely fantastic job. I don't want it at the price they charge. He says, yes, we do. Macy's has Toys R Us now. G.I. Joes are $35 USD at Toys R Us, all of them, even 2-year-old ones. And it's not that I don't get that, but like at the same time, I would probably pay a little bit extra money. I would pay an extra $10 to have a Toys R Us again. I know that sounds wild because like you're dealing with it and you're like, no, you wouldn't because I'm doing it and I trust me, you wouldn't want that. And so I get it. But once Toys R Us was gone, we lost the ability to see hundreds of toys that in the last couple of years, as you've noticed, I've said over and over and over again, I buy my stuff online now. I could look all day and all night for simple figures that everybody else is just getting easily. Like, oh, I found this at Ross. I found this at... No, we do not. No, we do not. Not in my areas. In my areas, which is pretty broad, by the way, I have technically 4 cities that are in easy driving distance of me. And I stop at multiple Targets, multiple Walmarts, multiple Ross, multiple Wally's. We don't got nothing. You'll notice that sometimes I'll go out of my way to mention I got this at a place. And the reason I do that is to show you just how rare it is and how often I'm buying all of this stuff now online. Because we don't have it. But when we had Toys R Us, I used to go there. I used to make a habit of going there once a month. And there was just everything. I got Play Arts Kai. I got Marvel Legends. I got special packs. I got collector's editions. I got a 4 Ghostbusters pack. I got a cool car. I got video games, movies. Everything was right there. We had a huge Toys R Us and everything was always available. There were so many doors. There was just everything and anything you could want. And now that Toys R Us has been gone, I have the Target toy aisle. It's maybe 3 lines that are even going to Target that I even care about. And there's the same 4 figures all the time. And that is it. That's it. It just blows my mind. We can't find anything anymore. And that just blows me away. I have Andra, the new Man-at-Arms. And I like her. I know that people get all uppity about this, but I like her. I actually think she's a good addition to Motu. I have Scareglow, and I have had my eyes on the other Scareglow for a while. I have a deal where somebody will let me buy the special Scareglow from the convention for $80. Is it worth it? I'm being honest here. I'm really fighting with myself because, I have Scareglow. He's right here. And as far as I could tell, the only thing special about the other one is that he comes in a pack, a special box that has an effect where you push the thing and it actually does something. And I think his weapon is painted a little different, and that's it. Is that really worth anything at all? And one could argue it's not. And I would not necessarily argue against that idea. $80 is probably a waste of money, in all honesty. But it's awful cool. That's some FOMO crap. At least I can honestly admit when I'm falling into that trap again. And lastly, Stinkor. Without the stink. Which is probably a good thing. Because I actually don't want a smelly toy in my room. That's not something that I want. This is a 10 by 10 room in an old house. I don't need that in my life. And that is everything that is currently waiting to be opened. I know that seems like a lot, but this is also a huge amount of figures that is built up over the course of the last 3 years. I do the videos as fast as I can do them, and I get them out as quick as I can do them. And like I said, it's usually I can open 3 or 4 figures a week if I'm lucky, but I only can film at such a rate, and then that piles up on me, and then I can't really get the things done the way I want. And so that happens to me a lot, especially over the last couple years. So there's a lot that's sat here and piled up that I've just never opened. And then, of course, every time I do a video like what we're currently doing with the what stays and what goes, as we do those videos, I'm not unboxing anything because I'm doing that. And if I'm doing that, I'm not doing this. And if I'm not doing this, other stuff is still coming in the mail from time to time. And that's what's happening. So I do think that to get through certain things, I may have to come in here and do like what he just kind of said. It's time to make a family unboxing. I actually think that it is time to maybe, I need to do some more group unboxing videos. Even if they're not live like this, I need to find more excuses to open multiple figures in a single thing. Like maybe pile up some guys that like I think that I don't have huge stories for or huge talking points for. Like, I know that certain guys get opened at the same time and it knocks them out at the same time. Like, I know that I'm going to do Fisto and Jutsu at the same time. I know I have a 3-pack of Star Wars that I can do. And maybe just for the sake of, maybe I could do that. Maybe I could do that alongside Bastila and Revan and make it like a 5 Star Wars video episode. And really, to save myself some edit time, if you want the truth of it, maybe this sounds like cheating in a way, but I'm just saying, I could literally pull the talking point that I did from this, add it to that, so that I don't like have to repeat myself, and I could go straight to the unboxing in terms of that, which would save me time because we've already talked about it. I've already given you a story. I've already explained why I love Bastila and what I kind of saw with the history of those two events and how they kind of wrap with one another. And that would be interesting. Or maybe I'll just tell the story again because I'm like that. I don't know. But what I do know is that it's just about time for me to go pick up my wife from work. So, I do appreciate everybody hanging out with me, everybody that did. I really appreciate any of the super chats or anything like that came across. I really appreciate just hanging out and talking to me. That's just a simple thing, but guys, that's what I'm here for. This is my hobby. YouTube has become my toy collecting hobby. It's a chance for me to come in here and talk about toys with other people that are interested in that. Because if I'm being brutally honest here, I don't have any friends. Arguable, I have one now. A buddy of mine that I've been talking to at work, he's into toy collecting. And so I've been able to talk to him now. But otherwise, I don't have anybody. Like, all my friends are like into video games and things like that, which is fine because I'm into video games and whatnot. But nobody I hang out with, nobody I talk to consistently understands this. They don't know why I like it. They don't know what it's about. They don't know exactly why I'm into it the way I am. They don't, and they can't mesh with me on that level. We have nothing to discuss in terms of that, which is the reason this part of my life often does not enter into fandom night. When I go and I talk on fandom night, maybe I'll mention some stuff here and there and we'll kind of goof around, but we never talk about like toys that are getting released, companies that are doing certain things, wireframe capes and things like that. It's just, there's no reason. They're just not into it. And so I never push the issue. But because of that, like, this is where I have that ability to come on and talk to people that are interested in these kinds of things just like me. And they can tell me about other toys and things like that, and like figures, and hunt down things and talk about names, and we can talk fandom that come from the toys and why we like it. It's just, this is it. This is where that release comes for me. Safe driving. Enjoy your week. It was an amazing video. Don't forget to give thank you. But people walk into the display room and say, wow, and check. Sometimes, yeah, that very much does happen. I very much had people come in here that are not into this at all, that then come in here and go, oh, dude. And then they ask me where things came from and how they can get them and yada yada. And so, I mean, yeah. I wasn't a big collector of toys, but after watching, I recently bought a group off eBay of Playmates Star Trek figures, almost every main character and stand for like $35. That's awesome! Dude, that's sometimes, that's one of those things. I don't do this. I've never done a video like this, but maybe that's something for the future to talk about. Like, collectors that are starting out, how do you start? Because sometimes that's another thing too, is people see this and they go, oh my God. And then they want that. But there are certain mistakes you can make in trying to obtain this This was not done overnight at all. You can track my videos back for years and see that I have been putting toys on the shelf since I had hair. Like, it was a long time, over multiple years, multiple purchases over a long, extensive period of time that I added all this up. And if you try to do this just flat out, you will break yourself. And you will lose money and time. And it will not do you any favors. And it will probably ruin your collecting experience and get you out of it real fast. But that's one of those things that I don't ever talk about, but makes a lot of sense. That is one of those ways to get in. If you could buy an eBay lot, if you could come in and say, I'm really curious about this, this is really something I want to do, and I've been interested for a long time, and I know some of the figures that I like and I want, eBay lots make a lot of sense. You can give yourself a $100 limit. Go in and find somebody that's looking to unload his G.I. Joes. He's done with them. He has a 60-pack, and he'll sometimes only be selling them for like literally $70. He's just looking to get space back in his house. I don't mean to take advantage of anybody. That's not what that is. But it makes a lot of sense to come in and be like, I could do that. I have a $100 limit. I want to get started somewhere. I'm very interested in Playmates Star Trek. That's not something hard to find at conventions. And they're like $7, $8 at conventions. They're one of the most affordable line of toys that you can get into. And you can go on an eBay lot and be like, let me get 50 characters or whatever. I have $100. And then you can just go in there, bam, 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 buy 2 or 3 lots, get rid of the ones you don't want. Now you have a starting point. And if you know what it is you're going after, at that point you can relax and say, okay, I've got this big thing. Now I'm going to start hunting what I specifically want. I know I want to finish this. I've got all these. I'm missing about 4 that I really feel like I need. I'm going to hunt those. Maybe those are bigger buys. Maybe those are $10, $15, $8, maybe even $50, depending on the rarity of what you're looking for. But you've put yourself in a spot where now you can do it. Lots make a lot of sense for new beginners. They're a great way to start without breaking your bank and getting a feeling for what you want to do and getting your displays and whatnot started. It makes perfect sense. Now that I have all the characters I want, now I'm just focusing on Borg Army. Not too bad. And that's exactly, yeah, that's perfect, yeah. eBay lots are definitely the way to go, especially with cheaper lines like that. I felt super lucky finding that, though. And sometimes you do have to get lucky. That's true. I'm not saying that everything will fall into your lap, but you have a way higher chance of finding something like that in a lot and getting yourself started. Hate to seem rude, but it's getting about time. Yes. No, she doesn't work too far away, but I do got to get out of here because it usually takes me about 4 minutes to get to where she is from where I am, and I got to pick her up at 9. It's 8:41. I got to go get my stuff ready. Guys, once again, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to get out of here, and see you soon.